greatest podcast show on the planet where we talk about movies. And I'm thinking about doing another podcast with like one for like this one will be on. It's usually on Saturdays, but today it was on Sunday, so I could see Batman vs Superman for a second time. And I'm thinking about doing like a middle of the week, or like maybe a Sunday one on Sunday, because that's usually when sports. So I was thinking about doing maybe a sports one with one of my other friends, where we could just talk about sports on Sunday, and maybe on Fridays I could do one with another friend where we just talk about like comic books. You know, like comic books, and then I can, or like, not really, maybe comic books and video games will be mashed up into one, because there's not really a lot of comic books. So I think Fridays will be video games, Saturdays will be movies, Sundays will be sports, because I know that I play a lot of Madden on here, and I really do love football, basketball, and baseball. Other than that, you know, I watch hockey sometimes, but, you know, this is what we're going to be really doing. So I'm here with Donald. And we're basically going to be talking about, this is a superhero episode where we're going to be talking about Batman versus Superman. For the beginning, first like 30 minutes, the next hour after that's going to be superhero movies that we love. And then the 30 minutes after that is where would we like to see these superhero franchises go. So before that, Donald, did you see anything new this week? Any movies, TV shows?
Well, currently because of my living situation, I don't have access to TV.
Yeah.
Or really I mean, I have access to the internet. I haven't really watched any superhero movies recently. I've mostly been sticking to anime and a few other things.
Nice.
And I can be on the video game show if you really want me to.
Yeah, I was thinking about having you and probably one other person to because I think one of my other friends is really into it.
I mostly stick to PC games.
Yeah.
At the moment, because my console's at home. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I'm thinking because I know a lot about the PlayStation 4 and I do PC gaming, but not as much as Donald. And then we can have like one of my friends who has an Xbox One. We can have him come on, and then we can all just do news stories about it.
The Xbox One is shit.
What about? Wait, we got to get someone for the Wii U. The Wii U still... Oh, did you hear? The Wii U's ending production this year.
Great.
That's crazy because it took the PlayStation 2, a console that was about, I think...
Was it like 10 years?
I think it was like 10 years after production for it to end, like 10, 11, or 12 years after production.
It was something really long.
Something like that. Like it was like 3 or 4 years after the PlayStation 3 came out, and it finally stopped production. And so Wii U came out in 2012. It's going to be 4 years. It's going to end production. That's a fucking failure.
Yeah, but that's just because Nintendo's home consoles can't compete with the big boys.
Even though they have great exclusives, but...
Oh, no, they do.
Yeah.
Nintendo has great exclusives. Honestly, their consoles are very fun for party games.
Exactly.
I think the reason why they fail... Why they don't constantly fail. But
they don't have nothing else. They don't have anything good.
The reason why I think they don't do well as doing home consoles... I mean, their portable games sell like hotcakes. They're great. But for home consoles is because the type of games that they have and the consoles that they make are more... Yeah,
the hardware is shit.
They're more oriented towards family and group play.
Which is stupid. I mean, the thing is, if you're going to have a party now, I mean, you're going to have it online. There's no reason to fucking invite people over when you could just say, okay, get online, we'll play games, you know?
Yeah, which... So they just need to really give in to the fact that people don't come over to play games.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we're going to move off from that. I know that was just a little gaming.
We'll save the console shit for Friday.
That was a little saving stuff, so... I have my computer out where I'm Skyping Donald right now. I know it probably sounds way better than last week, but we were on cell phone due to technical difficulties. So, let me see. So, we're going to start off with the Batman vs. Superman review. Batman.
Which I still haven't seen, but I already know what happens in it.
And, so, as you already know, Batman v Superman has a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, dude. I heard so many people hated it.
Well, the thing is, it's really weird because the critics hate it, but the fans seem to really love it. So Rotten Tomatoes is run by critics, so the critics gave it a 29%, but on IMDb, the movie's it has a 7.5 on IMDb, which is, because the highest rated movie ever is The Dark Knight, which is like a 9.0 or something like that. So that's only a 1.5 difference, and so, that's actually a really good score for the fans. That means people thought the movie was good, so the fans thought it was good. So I'm going to get into review. So if you don't know, pretty much one of the biggest movies of all time came out this last weekend on Friday, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, which is the name. I hate it how they call it Dawn of Justice. I would have just taken it Batman v Superman. And the movie,
Justice League
I know, but the movie had a huge opening. I'm looking at how much they made right now for finals for the first weekend. So the movie had a $250 million budget, and its opening weekend, I think it made just as much or maybe a little bit more than Star Wars. It made $425 million opening weekend.
Okay.
So the movie's already a huge success. I mean, I know that the movie the movie cost $250 million to make, plus $150 in marketing. So $400 million budget, made $425 million opening weekend, made back its budget, and it's probably going to break $1 billion. I'm pretty sure the movie's going to make over $1 billion. But
definitely.
So there's been a lot of bad reception towards this movie, mostly because I think people are saying that. So basically, let me just get into my review before what people are saying. So I'm going to say what I liked about Batman v Superman and what I didn't like. Going into this, I'm just going to get at what I didn't like out of the way. Doomsday, I didn't like how they introduced Doomsday. I didn't like how, and this is not a spoiler, I mean, they showed him in the fucking trailer, for God's sake. I really thought that if they would have saved Doomsday and didn't show him in the trailer, and they didn't show him in the trailer, it would have been a lot better. Like, it would have been like, holy shit, Doomsday's in this movie? No fucking way. But they showed him in the trailer, they blew their whole load in the first like the first or second trailer. I think it was like the second trailer. They blew their whole load, and it's just like, so you pretty much see the whole movie. Have you seen the trailer that came out last month, Donald?
I have not seen the trailer with Doomsday in it.
No, the one that comes out, that one that came out a month ago, that came out after the Doomsday trailer.
No, I have not.
Okay, do not watch it.
I heard that it gives out like 80% of the movie.
No, do not watch it, because the beginning of it shows how Batman fights, and you're going to be really surprised, because the fights that Batman has, I mean, unless you want to watch it right now, give your why don't you pull it up?
Alright.
Type in Batman v Superman final trailer.
Okay, give me a second.
And then, so while you do that, I'll talk. So basically, what I didn't like how they introduced Doomsday. I didn't like how they gave everything away in the trailer. This thing, I could see why the critics didn't like, because in this movie, you know how it took like Marvel 4 or 5 movies to get to the Avengers?
Yeah.
So this movie feels like 4 or 5 movies combined, you know? Like, one part of the movie feels like a sequel to Man of Steel. It feels like Man of Steel 2. One part of the movie feels like a standalone Batman movie of him getting introduced into the universe. Another one feels like an actual Batman v Superman movie. Another one feels like a movie like a Dawn of a movie. I'm thinking like the movie should just there's like a movie called Dawn of Justice where they're getting the Justice League together. Like, it feels like 4 movies into one. Like, I feel like after this movie, after Man of Steel, it should have gone Man of Steel 2, then a standalone Batman film, Then Batman vs. Superman, where the whole movie's just focused on Batman vs. Superman. Then after that, you have a movie called Dawn of Justice, which is Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman getting the Justice League together. And then after that, you have Justice League. And then in the middle there, you throw in Suicide Squad. So I felt like, so then you would have had 4 or 5 movies to develop all the characters. This one, it feels like they shoved everything together in a 2.5-hour movie. It didn't feel like this movie was clocking in at over 2.5 hours, and I still felt that the movie needed another.
Videos of people talking about it, and some of the things they've complained about was that basically, and I can really see it happening too, is basically that DC. When was the last DC movie?
Man of Steel. Before this.
Man of Steel. Okay. What were the ones before that?
The Dark Knight trilogy.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan.
So, in a sense, those are their only build-up, really, besides a few other ones.
Well, there can't be no build-up because those movies don't connect in. The only DC movie before...
They're just trying.
Yeah, they're putting too much.
So much into this without having backstories that they're only going to fill in later.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they want to introduce all the characters now, blow their full load, because Justice League is coming out in a year and a half. I think before that we're having one Wonder Woman movie and a Flash movie.
I can check right now. I know we're having a Wonder Woman movie.
And a Flash movie, and Suicide Squad's coming out this August, and it's going to be Batman in it, so... But the thing is, like, that's still not enough time, I feel. That's like, so in the span of...
I think we need more.
The span of, like, literally, like, a year and a half, you're introducing 6 or 7 characters with only, like, 2 or 3 movies.
Is Black Panther DC?
No, Marvel.
Okay. Yeah, we're having a Flash movie in 2018.
So the Flash movie's coming out after. So,
March 20.
So Suicide Squad... is just going to have Batman. After that, we're going to have a Wonder Woman film coming out next year, and then a Justice League film, so we're only going to have 2, think about it, there's only going to be 2 actual standalone films before the Justice League movie comes out.
But, yeah, what is Aquaman, I always forget, is Aquaman DC?
Yes, Aquaman's DC.
So we're having an Aquaman movie July 2018, as well as... Ant-Man?
Ant-Man's Marvel.
Marvel, okay. And then Shazam? I don't even know.
Shazam's DC.
So we're having that in April 2019, as well as... And wait, where's the first Justice League movie? I just saw Justice League Part 2.
Yeah, part 1's 2017. Part 1's 2017.
Yeah, November 2017. And it's gonna be... It's going to be competing with Star Wars.
No, Star Wars doesn't come out until December.
It comes out a month later, but still, I can count that as competing.
Not really. If you think about it, I think it's like 4 or 5 weeks out. I mean, that's not competing. So...
I really want to see that Venom movie.
So, I don't know. Sony's controlling it, so I can't trust anything Sony's doing, especially with that Ghostbusters remake shit. It's horrible,
God.
Yeah, but we're not going to get onto that. There's a whole lot of other stuff. So watch that final trailer to the Batman vs Superman.
I just did.
So what do you think of it? What do you think of Batman's fighting?
I think it was funny that he punched the guy so hard that his head went through the wall.
Oh yeah.
I think that his fighting is definitely a lot more rough.
Yeah, and you could actually see it.
Yes, he throws his enemies a lot more than he usually does.
But the thing is, like, that's how Batman fights. Like, if you look at, so I already list my negatives. Other negatives, like, yeah, it did feel a little bit too bloated with too many characters. I didn't like how Doomsday was introduced. I didn't like how there was too much in the movie. I thought that they should have focused, like I don't really think it's Batman v Superman. It should have just been called like The Batman, because this movie, this is definitely a Batman film. There's more Batman in it. It's supposed to focus on Batman, but it's supposed to be. I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, have more Superman in it than Batman when this is their first introduction to Batman. So I can see why they have more Batman in the film.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I guess you could say the Superman movie was like a build-up to this one.
Also, I didn't like how the fights. I mean, maybe it was from the backlash from Man of Steel, but these fights weren't as cool as Man of Steel. But
Well, I mean, Man of Steel. Well, I personally despise that movie.
I don't know why. I think you just got influenced by Nostalgia Critic, which I fucking hate this Nostalgia Critic.
I love Nostalgia Critic.
He's a money hungry whore.
I actually did watch the movie, and it's.
Well, okay. Say what your problems are with Man of Steel.
Like, alright, so part of it is some things that were mentioned in the Nostalgia Critic review. Because there are
like what? Like what didn't work?
The fact that with all these people getting hurt, no one at any point says "ow" or acknowledges that they've been injured.
When they're fighting?
No, I'm alright. So I'm talking about like the people in the background who die, not when they're fighting.
I think you need to see that movie again, because I just saw it again today and people were screaming and shouting.
Man of Steel?
Yeah, Man of Steel. I think you need to see the movie again.
I'm talking about the certain characters, like his dad when he like his adopted dad, and he's like, it's fucking, you just like don't save me. I can completely walk away from this tornado in time.
Actually, you need to see You need to see the movie again. His leg gets caught.
Alrighty then.
His leg gets caught, and that's why he gets sucked into the tornado. His leg gets caught. He breaks his leg, and he tries to limp out, and he's about to go, but then he says, "No, I'm already done anyway. There's no chance,
Well, Superman could have saved him.
That's the point, though. Superman wasn't supposed to save him, because if he did, he would have gotten exposed to the world. It wasn't his time yet.
I mean, part of it is probably that I don't like Superman. But
I don't know. There's not something bad. I mean, this Superman was more dark, but yeah. What else? But Man of Steel, I mean, a lot of people said that. Oh, the fighting. Superman. I mean, what do you want? Do you want the shit Superman fighting that they had in the Christopher Reeve? I'm sorry, but Christopher Reeve Superman.
I like the fighting.
Yeah, and the origin story was told really well. So I don't know what everybody's problem was with that movie. I think people just nitpicked the fuck out of it because I don't know why. I thought the movie was actually really well. It was a great the origin story was told perfectly. I really cared for Superman. By the end of the movie, when he was fighting, the action sequences were amazing. They're jaw-dropping. I've never seen Superman fight like that before. So I think people just bitch about it because they just want to bitch.
Maybe it's because I don't like Superman.
Yeah, I think that's what, like... Maybe that's why. I think Superman's not an interesting character, but in this one, in Batman vs. Superman, you really care for him. So we'll get on to what I like now. In this one, I liked how they made Superman like he's really thinking over like, oh man, do I really want to be Superman anymore? All these people are just getting like hurt and stuff, and people are just acknowledging me as like they thinking I'm a murderer and stuff. Why should I save these people anymore? There's really conflict, and I also really liked in the movie the confrontation between Batman and Superman, and the reason why they fought. The reason why they fight too, I actually thought was actually really well done. The reason they fight in the movie is because. Do you want me to spoil it or no?
You can.
So.
I'm so bored with superhero movies because they come out, like, how many of them come out?
I don't know.
Every year?
So I'll get to it, but so basically in this one, Batman and Superman fights Batman because Lex Luthor kidnaps Superman's mother and says, if you don't bring me the Batman's head so the world can see that you are a killer, then I'm going to kill your mother. And so he says they're going to have to fight to the death, and so they do have a fight, which Batman beats the shit out of Superman. And I really like that, and at the end, Batman has his foot on Superman's throat, and he has a kryptonite spear, which is he's about to kill Superman with. But Superman says, you're going to let Martha die. You don't let them kill Martha. And coincidentally, both Batman and Superman's mother's names are both named Martha. So Batman's there, and his mask is like broken off, like half of the metal suit, the Superman suit, half of it's like broken off. And he just sits there and he starts breaking down, crying, and he starts yelling at him, and he says, why do you say that name? What does that name mean to you? What does it mean to you? Why did you say that name? You know, and he's having flashbacks of his mother getting shot with the pearls. And then you have Lois Lane come next to him, and he's like, it's his mother's name. And then Batman takes his foot off Superman's throat and throws the spear down. And says, then, you know, he just has that look on his face, like, you know, and they finish up the flashback. It really connects the two, because, you know, Batman realizes, too, you know, that Superman has a mother, too. He's actually more human than he thought, which actually gives another level to Batman, you know, like, that's why I really love this Batman, you know, because he's really a tortured soul, and that really why it moves me to my favorite part of the movie, which was Ben Affleck as Batman, because Ben Affleck, you know, not only is he a badass, a really badass, you know, kills people. He's killing motherfuckers, branding people, you know, taking people out. But the thing is, he's a real emotional Batman. Like, one of my friends, he's like, man, I hate it because Batman was, you know, crying, like, looks like he was gonna cry. And I was just like, what? I was just like, this Batman had the most emotion out of all of them, you know? He actually showed that he was a character who's going through stuff, you know? He's like 45 in the movie, and he's going through shit like everybody else is, and, you know, he's actually a character, you know? He's been through shit. He's been Batman. They've shown out that he's been Batman for a little over 20 years. And
yeah, I think another part of it is, you know, Ben Affleck's one of those actors that people just rag on for no fucking reason.
I know, exactly.
And I don't know why, because I actually like him.
Yeah.
Yes, he has a few bad movies, but doesn't every actor?
Yeah, but that was like at the beginning of his career. Look now, he's now made what was it, like 3 Oscar-nominated movies, one of them winning Best Picture, you know? I mean, the guy knows how to direct a movie, but that's the thing, like,
he's a good actor, too.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, and everybody was all like, oh, Ben Affleck, how could they? I remember when Ben Affleck got cast as Batman, I remember I was talking to you, and I was like, I don't know what everybody's whining about. I fucking love the casting choice.
I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember agreeing with you. I don't see it either.
I mean, he's a great Batman. The only person I would have think that would have been honestly better than him in the role is if they got Michael Keaton to come back and play a much older Batman. Yeah. Which, if they did, you know, I would be jumping up and down, because I thought I don't know. I really like Ben Affleck, but I really like Michael Keaton. But I think probably Ben Affleck is better, because the best thing about Batman is this is an actual true adaptation of the character Batman. And a lot of people are like, well, we've gotten them before. I mean, in it seems like in Batman 1989, you know, he really had like the look of Batman, he had the voice of Batman, he had the gadgets of Batman, but he really didn't have the fighting and the crime detective solving was really off, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it didn't fit. So it was all like, okay, his performance is good, but like the fighting was not really good in Batman 1989, which I can admit. And, you know, it was like he didn't do anything, you know, that's all he did. It didn't look like he was actually crime, like, you know, solving puzzles and all that shit. And then the next two Batman, which was Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, don't even count those. So then we go on to the Christopher Nolan trilogy. We see this Batman doesn't really look like Batman. He's some small, skinny, scrawny dude. He's small, skinny, and scrawny. He does detective work. The fights are horrible. You can barely tell what's going on during the fights. And the voice is horrible. So but in this one, we've got great fights. I mean, you saw in that beginning of that trailer, I mean, the fighting looks like actual Batman, you know, going around taking people out. We got great fights. We've got a great voice. We've got the actual look of Batman from the comic books, you know, the gray and then the black bat symbol, which is the comics. We've got, what else? We've got, we've got actual good Bruce Wayne and Batman performance, so it's not just, he plays Batman better than Bruce Wayne. He plays them both really well. And I really like how in this one, the voice, they say that his voice is, the way he does it is because in his suit, he has a voice modulator that he puts under his throat. So when he speaks, it changes his throat, so he's not going, you know? In this one, he made a voice modulator under his throat that fits into his cowl that changes his voice to make it sound a little bit more robotic and unhuman-like. Yeah. Which is very cool, you know. I don't think that was from the comics, but that's a very original and cool idea.
Does he do that normally without the suit?
What do you mean? Or the voice?
Yeah, the voice changer thing. So no one knows who he is.
Oh yeah, no. Without, like, what do you mean without the suit? Like,
well, you know how like Batman in the other ones where he would grunt his voice, sound like this. He did that as another way to like hide his voice, his actual voice.
No, he doesn't do that because in this one he has the voice modulator which changes his voice.
Yeah, but does he use the voice modulator normally?
Yes, he always uses it. It's always in his cowl. Okay. It's always hooked up to him.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's always hooked up to him, and also, you know, he has one in his robotic bat suit. So I mean, he has one in each one. So I mean, it changes his voice, but. I like that, how they did that. I also like how, you know, Batman, you know, he might have killed people, but I mean, I think this is a Batman that it makes sense why he kills people. A lot of people are like, oh, he kills people, it makes no sense. Why he kills people totally defeats the purpose of the character. And I commented on Chris Stuckman's video after he said that, and I was like, what are you talking about? And then I was all like. Batman in the 1940s killed people. He used guns. He killed people, you know. He did all that. And then somebody commented on my comment saying, face palm. And then I commented back saying, I was just all like, how is it a face palm? And I was like, are you fucking retarded? Did you not read the comic books from 1939 that were made by Bob Kane where Batman used guns, killed people, ran over people, hung people, did all that shit? So how am I face palming when you're the person who doesn't know anything about that? I want to know someone who knows just as much comic book info as I do. I mean, it's like virgin level of comic book knowledge I know.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know very much about comic books. I know the history of some horror comics and stuff from the 50s, but that's about my extension of it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I just never got really into comic books.
Yeah.
That's just what happened, and
I did. Yeah, I did. I mean, like, I used to read manga as a kid, but manga, I didn't find any of the characters personally like as investing as comic book characters. I think mostly because manga, there's too many characters that you can't really focus on one really character, and you know, one really good character. Like the thing is, like manga, like people are like, oh well, manga is, you know, it's just so much better. I'm just all like, how is it so much better? Like, you know, I would see them both as equals. Like I don't.
Yeah, in my opinion, they're equals.
Yeah.
Because they're both essentially the exact same thing. But with a different style.
Yeah.
Say, because of the country they come from.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's the same thing, like, with anime and cartoons in America. I pretty much consider them the same thing. It's just anime is basically Asian cartoons. And actual cartoons here are... Some people, like, in other countries would consider that American anime.
Yeah. But, like, the thing is, like, when people are like, well, because I feel like manga is more, like, epic orientated. You know, it's really good at showing big, vast fights and, you know, really epicness of showing great fights and great set pieces. But I feel like comic books, to telling an actual story with actually really, you know, a great character over a long period of time, I feel comic books takes it, because it, like, I don't think there's any character in manga that's more interesting as Batman. If you think about it, it's a story about a young boy who had everything taken away from him. You know, the people perceive him as he has everything, but everything's taken from him. He then spends the next 20 years training to become a man who dresses up as a bat. And the psychological aspect that he goes through over time, you know, seeing pretty much his son get killed, which was Robin. So you see him get killed. He sees him gets killed, and depending on what universe you go in after that, you know, he just becomes unhinged, and then it finally ends with him being a 55-year-old man coming out of retirement to fight Superman, who's become a total tyrant for the government, fakes his death, and then now is going to work underground to save Gotham. But it's such a great character, Batman. That's why he's my favorite comic book character, because it really is just like, what makes a guy have the balls? Because let's face it, if you and me had to go fight against Superman when we have no superpowers, we'd be shitting ourselves.
No, I would say fuck that.
Yeah,
running.
Superman. I mean, Batman. I mean, I think he's the superhero with the biggest balls of anybody. He's like, fuck you, let's fight.
He's got the money to back it up.
Yeah.
Let's face it, he wouldn't be a crime fighter and have this training and all this other shit if he wasn't rich.
Yeah, true. And in all of manga and in all of comic books, Batman has the best rogues gallery of all time.
Rogues gallery?
Villains.
Oh, villains. I will say, like, I wouldn't say out of all manga, because manga's got some pretty damn good villains.
I don't know, better than the Joker.
Separate groups.
I don't know, better than the Joker and Mr. Freeze and Two-Face and Scarecrow, you know.
Well, the thing is, for me at least, like, yes, all those villains are great and amazing and shit, but
yeah.
I don't think you can take comic book villains and compare them to manga villains simply because they're different cultures. They're written in completely different ways.
Yeah, I mean, but you can also see, like, what is better. Like, I don't know, not better, but, like, what has a more of an impact. I think the comic book, like, Batman's, because the thing is, you go to other foreign countries and you say, you know who the Joker is, you know, and then they know, but you go to them and tell them what, you know, a character from a manga is, and the percentage rate on them knowing the Joker or the Scarecrow or Mr. Freeze or the Riddler over on that manga villain is way more percentage.
Well, it depends. Do you know who the Fire Nation is?
Yeah, I know the Fire Nation. Yeah, the Fire Nation.
Knows who the Fire Nation is.
Not everyone. No, not as much. I would say that people know the Joker 100% more than the Fire Nation.
Well, no, they know the Joker much more. But I'd say if you were going to take, like, a cartoon and and basically if you're going to compare a cartoon, or not really a cartoon, but like if you're going to compare a manga character, yes, certain ones are going to be very iconic. There are a lot of manga characters that everyone knows. Fucking Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Everyone knows him.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Frieza. Well,
not like everyone. Like, they're not on that level of Joker or Riddler, you know.
They're getting there.
They're not, I don't think they'll ever reach it. It's not everyone knows who the Joker is. Like, I would be surprised if you go up to someone and say, "Do you know who the Joker is?" and they say no. Like,
I would be too. But I'd also be surprised if I went up to somebody and asked them, "Do you know who Goku is?" and then they said no.
No,
well,
dude. My sister, I could go up to my sister right now and say, "Do you know who Goku is?" She's like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Well, then here's the other thing. Because, and I know why I can walk up to some random people and they don't know who he is because because Batman is popular, and they've been making movies for a long time.
Yeah,
it's just been ingrained into people's brains.
That's the thing, that it's been ingrained into people's brains, and that's why I think it'll never. That's why I don't think any manga will be as big as any like Superman or Batman. I think it'll be. I think Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man I don't think any manga will ever be bigger than any of those 3 comic book characters. I could see them being bigger than...
Not in America.
Yeah, I think the world, though. Because the thing is, like... The thing is, like, I could see them being bigger than Aquaman or Shazam or Ant-Man or Iron Man or Captain America. Yeah, but I could see it big. But the thing is, there's just something about Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man that I think will live on forever. I think till the end of time, those characters will always be relevant and always be made into movies.
I can completely say that about Dragon Ball Z as well. Even now, they're still making shit for the show.
Yeah, they're making shit for the show, but I don't think that it will ever reach that status of Batman or Superman or Spider-Man. Like, I feel that, like, it's just world culture. I can't say it's like just American culture anymore. Because I mean, you look at the. And, you know, if you release a manga movie right now, I don't think if you released a Dragon Ball Z movie right now, it's going to make $500 million opening weekend like Batman vs. Superman did.
Because it's been, again, it's these movies that are released in America and all these characters that have been ingrained on people's brains and shit, they're going to see the new movie regardless of if they like it or not. Regardless of if they don't think the character, and regardless if they hate the character, they're going to see the movie.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, okay, so let's see, the last big anime release for manga was, let me type in, was Attack on Titan in China for 83 million, alright? I just looked it up. 83 million for Attack on Titan. This weekend for Batman vs. Superman, China and Japan. So for China and Japan, the grosses for Attack on Titan were 83 million. For anime, where anime originates from, for Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and those two, they made 102 million. That is almost 20 million more, and a place where the two originated in. Not even Batman vs. Batman or Superman.
They've been showing the Batman and Superman movies and other American movies in those countries for a very long time.
Not as long as the anime has been out for.
Not as long as Attack on Titan has been out.
Yeah,
Attack on Titan has only been out for a fucking year, and a year or two, and then they made the movie, which honestly,
But that's the thing, though. I think that in 20 years. Say 30 years down the line, we have a live-action Dragon Ball Z movie released and a live-action and a good one, and a live-action Batman vs. Superman movie that's really good. I will pick Batman vs. Superman any day, making more money than Dragon Ball Z. Any day.
It's been around longer, and it has more dedicated people who are going to see it.
Do you think Dragon Ball Z will ever reach the culture status level of Batman and Superman?
I think at some point, yes, but not for a long time.
On the same level, like they'll be recognized as much?
I don't think it'll be on the same level simply because Batman and Superman have such a fucking head start on them.
Yeah, and also I think that people can relate to those characters. I don't see really... That's the thing about manga. I can't really relate to any of the characters. Except, that's why I think the best manga of all time is probably Death Note. Because that's one that was actually, it didn't go off and blow its load the whole way, just throwing a whole bunch of fucking cool-looking shit on the page. It took its time. It told a story.
And then, there's the thing, though. When I look for a manga, or I don't read manga very much anymore, but when I look for an anime that I watch, and when I actually sit down and watch them, I don't particularly look for characters to relate to. I look for a interesting story, a funny story, or a action story, which I'll watch an anime and if it's good, because it may be good just because it was a fun anime to watch and it was a really fun ride to watch all of it. Mm-hmm. Or I've seen some animes and read some mangas that have very good characters that I can relate to. Such as Death Note and a few others. But I don't think that you can enjoy a movie just because you feel, God, what was the word? I just said it.
Connected to, like, you know, characters that you can relate to. Right?
Yeah. I don't think you can just like a movie or like movies and animes on the premise that you can relate to the characters, because you're not going to be able to relate to every character.
No, well, yeah, but there's, like, you know, I think that it's a big plus, you know? I mean, if I went into a movie and, because the thing is, okay, say you go into a movie, all right, and the movie had really good visual effects and great action sequences. Would you personally have a movie that has really good action sequences and it looked really good, or a movie that had really good action scenes, looked really good, and had really good characters that you could relate to? Everyone's obviously going to pick the second one.
Well, yeah, but you can't just base a reason why you like a movie off of that, though. I think there needs to be
it can't be the single reason, obviously, but I mean, it could be a big reason. I mean, I think I'm bringing up this movie again, but The Faculty, the characters in that movie, I think are amazing. I mean, they all feel real. They all feel like actual high school characters. I mean, I could relate to some of them, you know. That's why I like that movie.
I can relate to a few of them as well, which is another reason why I like Scream. And yes, I do like certain movies because I relate to the characters.
Yeah.
And I do think it is a very useful, I don't want to say useful, it's a very good way
to, like, hook an audience.
Yeah, it's a good way to hook the audience with characters they relate to. But then I've seen lots of movies where I don't relate at all to the characters, and animes too, where I don't relate at all to the characters, and I still love the movies. Yeah.
But by the end of the movies, I'm usually not saying those characters were really what made the movie great.
Sometimes.
Like, because a lot of people are like, there's sure, I do like my very one-dimensional character now and then, but I don't I would rather have a character that actually has levels to them. But, so we're getting off into anime and all that. I'm going to finish the Batman v Superman review. I liked it a lot. Well, I wouldn't say I liked it a lot. I liked it, you know, I thought it was a good setup for future DC films, and I mean, it's kind of exciting, because the thing is, Marvel now, it's kind of getting overblown, because now DC, DC only wants to release maybe they say at most two movies a year for DC, because they don't want us to get oversaturated. Fucking Marvel has like 5 movies a year, man. I swear to God.
Here, I'll count the Marvel movies for this year, and then I'll count them for next year.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
So I know that there's Deadpool is coming out. Deadpool, X-Men, Doctor Strange, Captain America. That's 4 right there.
Isn't X-Men part of Marvel as well?
Yes.
So X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, X-Men Apocalypse.
So that's 4 this year at least.
Yeah, that's 4. That's double the amount of DC films that are coming out this year.
God, the Wolverine 3.
When is that?
2017.
Alright, so yeah, next year. And then next year, what do we have? We have Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the Wolverine. We have... what was it? I think... Oh, we're having a Spider-Man film. Black Panther. Thor Ragnarok. What else Marvel movies?
I believe that's it.
So see, that's 4. Next year, what's coming out? A Wonder Woman film and a Justice League movie. See, that's the thing. Like DC, I kind of like how they're taking this slower approach. You know.
Well, actually, Marvel did that too.
Yeah. Like, but now they're just throwing everything. Yeah.
And now they're speeding up because they're just making so much money off of it.
Yeah, which is why I personally just don't give a shit about Marvel Universe anymore. I think it's fun, you know. I go to the movies and I think that they're fun, but I don't really personally care about like any like the storyline. Like I personally don't give a shit. I just go there to have fun. But so like let me think. Shit, I don't know.
Do you know who's making the Power Rangers movie, by the way?
No. Here, let me see.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the shit. You go on, finish your stuff on the Batman vs. Superman, and then we'll talk about movies.
So, Batman vs. Superman, I thought it was a good setup. I also like it because It's very fresh, you know, like, it's really cool to see all these characters coming together. It's kind of the feeling I got when the first Avengers came out. Like, you know, when seeing these characters all start to come together, I actually really enjoy it. I really like that they're coming together. And, so yeah, I like it as how it's a setup. You know, I really can't wait to see Suicide Squad and how. So we know that Suicide Squad takes place before Batman vs Superman in the 2 years between Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. I like that, and also these are not children's movies. That's another really big positive is Batman vs. Superman is not a children's movie. I was actually walking out of the theater. I was kind of surprised that people were bringing children to the film because in this movie, people die, Batman's cussing, you know, people are getting killed, Batman's cussing. There's one jump scare in the movie that actually I really did like and I wasn't suspecting at all. But for a dream sequence, you know, and it's very dark, you know, people are getting killed, you know, they kidnap Superman's mother and they beat her, Batman, you know.
They're taking the clear adult approach.
Yeah, this is see, Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's very a young teen, kid friendly.
PG-13.
This is very adult, hardcore, this is a hard PG-13 R-rated universe, which I think you're going to like when you start seeing it because, you know, by the end of the movie, Superman gets killed.
Yeah, I know.
So Superman gets shoved into him.
Fine with me.
Yeah, which killed. But the thing is, like, you know, you know, you actually start feeling for Superman in this movie. But yeah, he gets killed, which is a ballsy move because how many Marvel films have we had now? Think about it. We've had like 15 Marvel movies, and we haven't had a main character killed off yet, or tried to get killed off. And the second movie in the DC cinematic. Well, think about it. Not an actual big character. Okay, Quicksilver died in the last Avengers film, but
that sucks.
That's not.
I like Quicksilver. I like his superhero.
Yeah, but he's not no Superman, you know.
No, he's not a main character.
Yeah, but I mean, in this one, they take Superman and, you know, they killed him in the second movie, which I don't think he's dead. I mean, seeing it again, they pulled an Inception. Did you see Inception?
Yes, I saw.
Yeah, you know how, like, it ends with, like, the tabletop, like, you know, it might be spinning, you know? So this one, it ends with them going into Superman's grave, and there's some dirt on top of the casket, a little bit of dirt, and then you just see it. Like at the end, the very last second, you just see it. You just see it. Yeah, you just see it move just a little bit. Like you probably don't even notice it. You know, like the first time I was all like, yeah. So it's kind of giving a little hint away that he might be alive. You know, but still, I mean,
he's not dead.
But still, they killed him off in the movie. You know, and I mean.
At the current moment, he's officially dead.
At the current moment, Superman's dead. But you know, in this one, you know. They have tons of people die, you know. They show tons of people just getting killed and stuff like that. But you know, they show I don't know. I like how they're really taking this very dark adult theme. You know, like these aren't kids movies, and I mean, Suicide Squad doesn't look like a kid's movie, and I mean...
No, it is not.
So I'm glad that they're taking this more dark approach where it's not like, hey, you know, it's your friendly neighborhood Batman and Superman having a little... Oh, wait, no, they're beating the shit out of each other now, and they're gonna fucking kill... Batman's cussing up, saying...
Dead.
Yeah, Batman's saying, you know... Batman saying, oh, shit, you know, he's like, oh, that son of a bitch, you know, like, Batman's cussing up a storm, you know... Superman's taking people and fucking throwing them and through them. Batman's using guns, killing people, you know. There's some jump scares, nightmare sequences, you know. Superman gets killed by the end of the movie, you know. It's not your happy-go-lucky. And that's what I like, you know. If you're going to make... So that's the thing, like, I think that's why it's so refreshing to see this. I think it's so refreshing to see this franchise, like, because if you're going to do superhero movies, like, I'm so glad that DC's not copying Marvel, because, like, the thing with Marvel is, like, oh, you know, they just keep doing the same thing, you know, it's so happy, it's so lucky, you know, let's get together, Guardians of the Galaxy, go save the world, you know. I like how DC's taking that more adult, dark approach, because, you know, it makes it more refreshing because you're all like, oh man, another superhero movie, but then you go see it and you're just all like, I don't know why, but that movie just felt so new and refreshing, and it's all like, well, because they're taking this really dark and adult approach, so, I mean, that's what I really like. They're going in with the universe, and I think that's what you will really like about this starting of this universe too.
Yeah, because I am kind of sick of the Marvel movies. I still enjoy watching them. They're fun popcorn movies.
Yeah.
But they're really just like dying out. Like, they're not dying out, but they're just not good.
Yeah, like they're fun and all, but I mean, shit. Like, honestly, like if Marvel came out tomorrow and said, "Yeah, this next Avengers is gonna be the last movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe," I'd be like, "All right, cool, sounds good." Before you get into, I'd be like, "All right, you know, makes sense."
Doesn't sound like they make much money off of it, though.
Yeah.
So I highly, highly, highly doubt they will.
Oh no, it's gonna go on forever, but you know. I mean, and then they want to do that with Star Wars too, where it's just like Star Wars is supposed to be a special thing, but you know they're just gonna overkill it for money, and they're gonna milk it out. Which, you know, it's kind. Honestly, you want to know what Marvel's doing? Marvel's doing the Call of Duty, where they're just milking it out. Like, you know, at the beginning it was so fresh and fun and cool and awesome, and then now, you know, it's kind of in the middle period. You know that. It's kind of in that middle period with Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, and I don't want it to get to that Call of Duty Ghost and Advanced Warfare where it was just fucking horrible.
I like Advanced Warfare. Ghost was a piece of shit, but I like Advanced Warfare.
But the thing is, Advanced Warfare and all the rest of the Call of Duty games after that will never get to the great success or, you know, of the original first couple of ones, you know? And that's what I feel like what's going to happen to Marvel, you know?
Oh, Marvel is going to continue to make movies.
Yeah, I think
until at one point, the movies are literally so ridiculous, convoluted, and
or they just don't make money.
That eventually one of them is just going to tank like no tomorrow.
Yeah. But I mean, it's going to take more than one, because, you know, I mean, who cares about?
It's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think we should stop.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you should go see. I'm telling you, you should go see Batman vs Superman. I like how they're taking the adult approach to it. So that was my review. If I had to give Batman vs Superman a rating out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 7 or a 7.5 out of 10. I did think it was like 5 or 6 movies into one. I did feel like the showing of the Justice League characters was a little bit sloppy and, you know, just thrown in there. The only one I did like, though, that was in there was Flash, because there's a scene where Batman's in his Batcave, and it shows him, he's sitting there decrypting some stuff, and he turns and you just see out of nowhere a portal open and Flash comes through and is telling Batman, he's like, you were right about him all along, and he's talking about Superman. And he's like, it's Lois. He's like, you have to protect Lois. So I did like how the Flash from the future from Justice League, the Justice League movie, came back to the past and was telling Bruce. I like how they're using Flash as like the time paradox character.
So he basically did the thing where he ran backwards.
Yes, he ran backwards, which is, it's really cool. Like, I really like how they're handling these characters.
It's really cool. Scientifically impossible, but really cool.
Yeah. But, so I like how the Flash is like one of Master Time. The only thing I didn't like, though, is that they haven't introduced Green Lantern yet. And that's bullshit, because Green Lantern's...
They're going to get a new character, a new actor to play Green Lantern.
Yeah, but Green Lantern's literally my second favorite DC character, like, and then it's Superman, or it's either Superman or Aquaman at number 3, but Green Lantern's such an interesting, like, character going into space and all that. But they didn't show him here. I guess they're going to introduce him in Justice League, but, you know... I don't know, but they better fucking have Green Lantern, because, I mean, and I don't really get why they have Cyborg in this Justice League, because the thing is, like, everyone's like, well, I know Cyborg's...
look cool.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really show him fully dressed, but, I mean, it showed his, like, a small clip of his origin, where his father's recording, he's like, oh, I'm trying to save him, and then it just shows a little bit of, like, this box, and then it opens up, and then it's starting to form him, and then his dad shuts off the camera. It's lazy shit like that. Like, it's just like, well, I rather would have just waited to see an origin film about it, but...
Can we just get a while I know it's a very high chance that they're going to ruin the shit out of it, I really would love to see a very well done live-action Teen Titans show.
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
I know it's never going to happen because no one can do it.
It's not interesting enough. That's the thing. Like, there's not an audience.
I love the Teen Titan characters.
It's not an audience. There's no audience for it. Not a big enough audience.
Everyone who loves the Teen Titans cartoon would watch it.
Donald, now I need you to tell me. Do you think that there's that audience for the Teen Titans cartoon? Do you think it's big enough to make a $400 million opening weekend?
I'm not talking about a movie. I'm talking about a TV show similar to something like Daredevil.
It would never be. That's the thing. It would never be on Daredevil. That's the thing. Daredevil has a big budget, but it's on Netflix. It could be R-rated. Let's face it. We'd probably have Fox, dumb fuck Fox, pick up the Teen Titans because Fox and the CW own everything DC, live action DC. So it'd go to there and it'd be fucking horrible. I wouldn't want to see that.
It would be horrible. Which is why I'm saying if a good one was made.
Yeah, I don't think. I would rather just keep it in the animated world. The thing is, I don't really like Cyborg in this DC cinematic universe because where the fuck is Martian Manhunter?
Yeah, where is?
I would take.
I think he is one of the most underestimated people who should totally be in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, they have Shazam announced, but they don't have fucking Martian. Like, Shazam's gonna come, I think, in just the second Justice League movie. The first one's just gonna be the original, the 7, which is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Flash, and Cyborg. I don't
get how they have Shazam, who is such a lame fucking superhero.
Yeah.
He's a little kid who says, Shazam, and then lightning strikes him and he turns into a buff guy.
I know.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
First of all, who the fuck came up with that?
I don't know. I don't like how they put Cyborg in this Justice League Part 1 over Martian Manhunter because okay, say what you will, I think Cyborg is an okay character. I mean, I get it, he's more popular nowadays than Martian Manhunter, but I think Martian Manhunter deserves it, because he's the one who brought the Justice League together.
Is he?
Yeah. He was the one, and remember in the comics...
Again, didn't read the comics.
Okay, well in the comics and the animated TV show, these aliens from Mars were going to attack, but he came down and warned them first and said, Batman, Superman, and you have to start fighting, get together and find the rest of these superhumans. So it was Batman, Superman, and Martian Manhunter got together, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, and Green Lantern, and then the 7 came together to fight these Martians that were coming down.
Can Martian Manhunter shapeshift?
Yes.
Or is he just trying to... Okay, yeah. See, that's the other thing. That is the most OP power ever, is shapeshifting.
No,
it's one of them.
I think that Superman's way more OP. I mean, he could take solar systems and move them.
Yes, but Martian Manhunter can
shapeshift. Wow.
Hey, you know what?
Bigger difference.
Superman, if someone's ever looking for him, they won't find him.
Superman could find him.
Ow.
The thing, dude, in the comic Superman, he literally X-ray visions people that he can already tell. Yep, you're that person. Like in the movie,
so he just X-rays random people.
Yeah, he could do it in the movie
until he finds them.
In the movie, and also Superman has great hearing. He can hear anything. So if Martian Manhunter's talking, he could be like, "Oh, okay, well, I found you now, bitch."
Because he can shapeshift, he can change his voice.
Yeah, he could change his voice, but is he going to stay shapeshift forever? There's going to be one moment in time where he's going to be like, okay, I think I'm safe.
You won't say that out loud.
No, but he's going to shapeshift back.
Smart.
Yeah, he's very smart, but, I think Superman kicked the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah, he definitely would if he got him.
That's the thing, Martian Man, he can shapeshift, but, I don't think it's OP at all.
But then, if you compare him to... I'm saying it's OP in general. But if you compare him to someone like Superman, who was literally one of the most godlike characters ever made in comic books.
He's probably
his powers are so powerful
he's
that
got most
bullshit proportions.
Yeah, the thing is, like, yeah, he can move solar systems and stuff, but that's Superman. That's the character that they made. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, that's bullshit. Well, that's the character that they made. I mean, are you gonna tell the people who created it that's bullshit?
I'm gonna tell them it's so overpowered that it's boring now. That's literally how I look at it. So overpowered that it's boring.
I don't see how you could say it's boring when a human with no powers can beat him. I mean, Batman beat the shit out of him in the movie. I mean, he literally took his body and threw it down a flight of stairs onto the ground. Like, you have to see the movie. I mean, it kind of makes it interesting. It's kind of interesting thinking the idea, wow, he's so powerful, but a human beat the shit out of him in that movie.
Yes, because he's smart and has a suit made of kryptonite.
Yeah, but, like, the thing is, like, you just have to go see the movie. But, so yeah, the review took longer than expected, so that's an hour. But I liked it. I think it's good. I like how they're taking an adult approach. I think people are shitting on the movie for no reason, but yeah. So we're going to get into now comic book movies that we absolutely love. Not really. I'm not trying to go for movies, Donald, that like movies that we just think are okay or that we like. I think we're going to have to get movies that we actually say that we love, or like we very like, not movies that we think we just like. We thought they were good or thought they were okay,
Yeah.
All right. So, do you want me to go first, or you want you to go first?
Well, I don't know. Whichever one. I don't really care.
All right. Well, you can go first because I got to get them together.
All right. I'm just looking through a list of some of the ones from the past years. I really like the Hellboy movies because of the characters are awesome.
Yeah, I think Hellboy's okay, but I could see why you like the character.
I mean, I like the characters. Again, I don't read the comic books. I don't have their background.
Yeah.
So this is their introduction to me as well.
Mhm.
And so, with what the introduction the movies gave to me, I really like them.
Yeah.
I really like. Another one is I really like The Crow. That's a great superhero movie.
Yes, I was going to mention that. That is probably that with Batman from 1989. That is probably tied for like my favorite comic book film ever. I think it's a great adaptation. I think that Brandon Lee is his best role. I think that he deserved all the awards he was nominated for and won. The movie looks amazing. I mean, it's a gothic masterpiece.
Yes. And the other fact that the guy actually died on the making.
Yeah, I know. It's insane.
Way more ominous.
But
I also like. I know you're probably going to disagree with me, but do you remember the movie Hancock?
Yes.
I really liked that movie.
I didn't care for it because I thought that by the end of the movie, the ending's just so anticlimactic with him in the hospital.
Yes,
oh my god. I mean, that's the thing, like, you set up a movie where the first half was pretty good, and then the second half it was like a roller coaster, just went down. I thought the first half, I think most people can agree with me that the first half, up to that bank scene where he saves the people from the bank, everything up till then was really good, and then after that, the movie went down from there. Like finding out that girl, is from his planet too, and that's like his wife or something, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, what?
Yeah,
what?
It gets pretty stupid.
It gets far-fetched.
I really like the first half.
Yeah, the first half of the movie, I could see why. I really liked it. But after that, you find out that that's his wife, but he can't be with her, and then at the end, he gets the shit beat out of him, and that's why, and then, she has to leave him and shit like that, and then they can't be together. It's just like, what? No.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Another superhero movie. I mean, it's not a superhero movie, but it was a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Is I really like the Blade movies.
Great too. I really enjoy Blade 1 and 2.
But yes, Blade 1 and 2 were. I think Blade 2 is actually better than Blade 1. In my opinion.
I have to see those over again.
More fun to watch. Yeah, Blade 1 was the Normal Vampires, who had the guy that was, like, absorbed a bunch of them, and then he got cut in half, and then his top half, like, floated up and then just went regenerated with his bottom.
And then the second one was
with the mouth things.
The vampires that can eat the other vampires, right?
Yeah, and then, like, their mouths, like, open up sideways and shit.
Yeah, that shit was pretty cool.
The third one was, like, alright.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that good. I think, Dracula was pretty cool in that, but, I think it was not as good as 1 or 2.
Oh, nowhere near close.
I do like how they're thinking about having Wesley Snipes come back as Blade, which would mean that the first 3 Blade movies are the actual first movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, I actually really like that.
But let's face it, it's fucking Disney, so they'll do it like PG-13.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be very sad. I like the old Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
The ones with Tobey Maguire. I think, and I like the Amazing Spider-Man movie. I think the first one was really good.
Yeah.
But I think it was way too soon for a remake.
Mm-hmm.
Or reboot or whatever.
Yeah. The second one, I didn't think the second one was that good.
No, the second one wasn't that good.
I mean, they put too much characters into it.
Mm-hmm. The last 2 X-Men movies,
First Class and those 2 were really good. I enjoyed those 2 a lot.
Great movies, I love those. Sin City is another really good comic book movie.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I don't think it's as good as other. I think that's probably a movie that I put on, like, my overhyped list of movies that I think are just overhyped.
It was really overhyped.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie, but I think
really
it was. Yeah.
Let's see here, what else? That movie was kind of bad. I like the first Hulk movie.
With Eric Bana?
I believe so. It's been a long time since
I don't know. The thing is, like, that movie, like, to me, like, the scenes in that movie, there's really no middle ground. Like, some scenes are really good, and some scenes are just fucking horrible. Like, the scene at the end where he's fighting his father turns into, like, that shitty creature. It's like, what the hell? You could hardly see the action when they're fighting. But then there's some scenes...
There's good scenes and there's bad scenes.
Or like when he's fighting the mutant dogs, like you can hardly see. But when it's daylight and he's fighting the tanks and stuff and jumping throughout the desert, awesome. That shit was awesome. But the scenes like when it was the middle ground, it's like, holy shit, this is fucking horrible.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like some of the scenes, but for the most part, I had a very fun time watching the movie. And
probably my favorite Hulk movie.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking through some of these. I think that's it for the most part.
Alright, well, then I'll get mine going, so I'm just going to go off. I just have them all stacked up, so I'm just going to go off what's on top. So top is as The Crow, Brandon Lee. We already talked about it. I really enjoy The Crow. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it's really sad that he lost his life when this is one of his first films. He could have had a really great career. I think it's definitely true that when it says a stunning work of visual style on the front, I think the movie's acted amazingly. I think that the movie has great music, whether it was the orchestra that did it or, the soundtrack. I thought it was both great. I just really like it. By the end of the movie, it always puts a smile on my face because, they really don't make movies like this anymore. I'm talking about if you had to tell me what movie is the most truthful adaptation to its comic book, I would have to say that The Crow is probably the most truthful to the comic book. Because it's exactly like it to the T. He looks like it. It's violent like that. I like how it doesn't hold nothing back. It's an R-rated, violent comic book film that is actually to the T and has great performances and everything in it. So that's The Crow.
Yeah, I really like The Crow. The sequel and the third one were much to be desired. Yeah,
I have City of Angels in my collection. I think it's a fun time waster. Like, I'd give it like a
Cities of Angels
6.
Is the second one, right?
Yeah, it's the second one that takes place like 10 years later, when the girl, you know that girl, the first girl in the movie, the Sarah, the blonde girl. It's the blonde little girl that's with him, you know.
There's 4 Crow movies?
Yes, there's 4. But yeah, I just saw 3 and 4 on Netflix. Like, they have them all on Netflix now, and the 3rd and 4th one are fucking horrible. The second one, I would actually say I really enjoy the second one. A lot of people give it shit, but the second one's only an hour and a half long. But it's an interesting story with the Crow City of Angels. So, the Crow City of Angels was made by pretty much the same people, but they really wanted to do something different with it. So, they took the Sarah character from the second one, and basically she lives, instead of Detroit now, she lives in Los Angeles. And she's in her 20s, you know.
It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I have seen it.
Yeah, so she's in her 20s, and she's living there, and basically it's basically night the whole time because of pollution and everything that's going on, and it's run by a crime lord named Judah, all of Los Angeles, who sells drugs, but. So that movie, there's the original cut of the movie that the director wanted to show is 3 hours long. So over half of the movie was cut out. Because the studio said, no, well, we want to make it more like the original. So they pretty much took all the scenes that were like of the original, like, you know, where he's going after people and killing them. So they took all those scenes. And they just put them together, and that's why the movie just feels like a cluster, like not really a clusterfuck. It just feels like, you know, a very poorly edited, you know, shit show. Like, because the thing is, like,
I'm sure they took out a lot of stuff that was important.
A lot of it was character stuff, you know. Like, I know that you could find like a 3-hour version online and like some shitty version of it, because they had video on demand back in the 90s, you know, where you could order the movie. They had the director's cut for the 3-hour version that you could order. But apparently in the movie it was mostly like it was gonna go into, because by the end of the movie you see the main character Ash, who's the Crow in this one. You see him, Sarah, the girl, dies at the end. She sacrifices herself to save him. And,
isn't the third one the one with, like, the fucking psychotic people and they're, like, doing random shit on crosses? And
no, that's the fourth one. The third one's about...
Maybe I skipped the third one.
Yeah. The third one's about some kid in jail who was suspected in killing his girlfriend, but he didn't, but...
Okay, maybe I saw all of them, and they're so bad that they work together.
But the second one, so... Through that movie, they're going to go through more, like, by the end of the... So if you watch the movie now and just its 90-minute cut, you know, she dies and then he gets really sad. But throughout the movie, the whole hour and a half was supposed to be, you know, going through the Ashes and her character's past, you know, and then showing them really growing closely together, you know, and kind of turning into a love story. And there's going to be more action and stuff in it. But the studio said, no, cut all that out, you know, make it more like the first one, which is kind of sad.
Emo as fuck.
Yeah, you know, which it's kind of sad because, you know, I mean, I think the second one looks probably as good or better than the first one, because I like how the second one has a very distinct look. Like, it looks very, you know, very neon lights and very foggy, like fog all over the place. Instead of, like, the first one was very dark and dark corners, you know, dark alleyways. This one is very, like, you know, there's neon signs all over the place, you know, and it's very, like, foggy, you know, it has, like, a green tint to it, and it looks very comic booky. It looks very different, and by the original ending to the film was at the end when Ash kills the crime lord Judah and all his guys at the end, basically, because at the end, the ending of the film is they cut it heavily down, the fight between them two. That's why the fight seems like shit. But it's basically at the end, the guy grabs the crow that Ash has, and he kills that crow and drinks its blood so he can gain the power of the crow, and they have a crow fight. So, like, but it seems like shit in the movie because they cut it down.
I'm sorry, just hearing that sounds stupid.
Like, but the thing is, like, I mean, it's more interesting of an idea than I'm putting it, because I'm putting it real quick, but... So, they do that, they fight, but then at the end, when Sarah dies, he kills the guy, and then, Sarah, he takes her body, and then he puts it down, and then, he's talking to the priest that he met earlier in the film. I remember I saw the original ending, and the priest is telling him, evil's not over, it's not done, there's still more in the city. And you know how at the end of all the Crow movies, the person's supposed to go back, and you know how they're supposed to go back after they killed everybody, they're supposed to go back and be with their family in the afterlife?
Yeah.
In this one, he talks to the pastor, and then the pastor says, there's more. More evil's gonna rise up. He turns back and he sees Sarah and his little son. Because in this one, him and his son got killed. He turns back and he sees Sarah and his son in the doorway. But he tells Sarah and his son that he can't go back yet because he has to protect the city from a new evil that's going to come, and then he just gets on his motorcycle and drives off into the night waiting for a new evil to come. Which I like that ending more, because
they were kind of setting up for a third one. Yeah,
they're setting up for a third one, but by the end of, the end of that movie, the ending that they show in, they have the shots of him driving off, but it shows him driving off, and then I guess they did reshoots where it shows him going to his son, and him and his son, are together, which I don't like that ending, because, it's kind of just shoehorned in, and by the end, if he did, because in the movie, in both cuts of the movie, the hour and a half and the 3 hour, he's saying how he doesn't want to go back because he wants to stay with Sarah, but in the hour and a half version, it's like, well, why does he want to stay with Sarah? He's only talked to her like twice throughout the whole movie, but in the 3 hour version, it makes sense because he spent time and he's grown to fall in love with her, but, but this one, I like how the end of I like the 3 hour version cut because, Sarah and his son, they're waiting for him, but they're going to still wait for him, but he has to stay and wait because there's more evil coming. But and this one, like at the end, it's just him and his son. It's like, okay, well, where's Sarah at? If he loves Sarah, wouldn't he be in the afterlife with her? It's kind of like, oh, okay, well, her character, you never find out where she goes, so it's just like, okay, it's kind of stupid, but that's what the studios, when they fuck with movies, that was a good chance at seeing something we didn't see before in the first one, seeing a 3 hour sequel, but that's what happens when studios fuck with movies.
Mm-hmm.
So that was The Crow and this Crow sequel. The one after that, I don't know if everybody's going to agree with me, but I honestly love this movie because I think it's just a really fun time, really fun. Then it's Ghost Rider.
The first one.
The first one.
Was,
the first one I really enjoy. I don't know. I really like Nicolas Cage. I really like the special effects. The second one, I don't like how I like how they introduced Eva Mendes in this movie, but then in the second one they don't reference her at all. Like, what the hell? I think the second one's kind of like a reboot of itself, but I like how this one.
The second one's just a piece of shit.
Yeah, I like how the first one though, like it has a very comic book look and feel, and I kind of like the fight scenes aren't that great, but I do enjoy the movie. I think it's very fun. I think it's just a fun time. I really enjoy the first Ghost Rider. So that's Ghost Rider.
I really enjoy it too.
The next one, I know a lot of people isn't going to agree either. Fantastic Four, the 2004 one.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah, I think I like it because even though it doesn't have great action, I like it's really comic book, It's really takes, they look like the Fantastic Four. I really like the Fantastic Four. What else? Doctor Doom looks like Doctor Doom, I know the new one, a lot of people hated it. I really enjoyed the new Fantastic Four. Have you seen it yet?
Yes, I have.
What do you think of it?
The first half of it.
Yeah.
And then the second half, I liked a little bit less.
Yeah, I didn't think everybody's saying the second half was horrible. I think that it just felt like two different movies. Like, they just, like I didn't really like, when Doctor Doom gets introduced from there, I can see, because that's my biggest problem in the film, where he comes back after the accident. Because that's...
Yeah, he comes, I think it's kind of dumb that he comes back after the accident.
Oh,
I
yeah.
also think that I feel like the transformation scenes were, like, completely and weirdly rushed.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's another movie that there was a longer. So the movie's like an hour and 30 minutes. That one, they had a longer, like 2 hours and 40 minutes version of the movie that they fucked with and said, no, this is just too much. Take out like an hour and 10 minutes of the movie. Which,
I want to see that version.
Exactly, I want to see too, but it's never going to get released because fucking Fox is retarded as shit. But I did enjoy it because the thing is, like, when Doctor Doom comes in, it feels rushed as shit. Like, Doctor Doom comes in, he's locked up, he breaks out, kills people, goes back to his world, and then out of nowhere says, oh, I'm going to bring this world to Earth.
I'm going to use the old world to recreate mine. And
then they have a shitty fight, which they kill, and then they kill Doom. I mean, like, they literally, with the actual Doctor Doom villain, we spent, like, literally 15 minutes with. It's like, well, what the fuck? But I like the first half, how it was it was very, like, it wasn't really, hokey, cheesy. It was really a very dark, serious take, a slow burn,
Yeah, I really liked the first half of the movie.
Yeah, the first half of the movie, I think, is what really saves the movie. Even though the second half, I did, and I think that the movie is really good up to the point where, like, I would say really the last 30 minutes when Doctor Doom is introduced is where the movie really starts to show, like, where they started pulling shit out.
Yeah, I think that's where it really starts going downhill.
Yeah, because I feel like from there, like, I feel like I could see where, like, an hour of the film from that point is, like, taken out, because up to there, like, that first hour or 10 minutes is really good, but after that, it's just, the movie gets pretty bad. But, yeah, so I really enjoyed the 2004 Fantastic Four. I do like Johnny Storm, I do like Doctor Doom, I do like Mr. Fantastic. It's very comic booky. I wouldn't say I love it, but I'd say I really enjoy it. It's a fun time waster. Next one, Superman Returns. I don't know what's over here. Next one is a one that everybody hates, but I don't know. Maybe it was because I was younger and I enjoyed it. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, but I enjoyed it. It was the first movie I was the first movie I ever saw by myself in the theater. It's Green Lantern. I think it's fun, I think it's a really fun movie. I really do enjoy Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern. I think he's a good Green Lantern. I was very smart and witty, and he says a lot of jokes. It's really sad that this film there's not really that much action. It's really not that great of action scenes. But I think that really saves this movie for me is Ryan Reynolds. I really enjoy Ryan Reynolds in the film. Blake Lively, And I do like the scenes when he's in space on the planet Oa, I think are really great too. Probably the best scenes in the movie.
I don't particularly like the movie.
Yeah, I can see why a lot of people don't, but I thought I enjoyed the movie. I wouldn't say, oh yeah, I really enjoyed the movie, but I enjoyed the movie. Because
I like the actor.
Yeah, I like the performance he gives in the movie, and the scenes in space are really what saves it for me. His performance in the scenes in space and the scene where he is Green Lantern, and he's fighting that big creature down in the city, those are the things that really save the movie for me.
Yeah, I just think the action in it was really just bad.
Yeah, but the thing is, yeah, for Green Lantern, you could do so much with the action sequences because he can do anything, but
He's Green Lantern, he can make literally any object.
Yeah, I know.
His entire imagination. You can, like, get a giant hammer, go full comic book, make a giant hammer out of his ring, and just smash the bad guy.
I know. Well, he couldn't because it's not like that, but I can see why people don't.
Some of the crazy shit I've seen that Green Lantern, or pictures of, like, comic book Green Lantern, it's just, like, some ridiculous, random, funny shit.
Yeah. So, let me think. Now we're moving on to... since I did a lot of DC, let me move on to some Marvel. So, this is Marvel film, the first Avengers, I really enjoyed.
I really like it.
I'm pretty sure you can't go up to someone who really said, oh, I didn't like the first Avengers. It was so special when that movie came out, because it was the one where you could see all these heroes come together.
Yeah, I think that, personally, when I first heard about the Avengers, not the movie, but, like, the Avengers in general, my first thought was, who the fuck pairs up these superheroes?
Yeah, honestly, the Marvels, that's the thing. I think that the DC superheroes are way more interesting and way more badass than the Marvel.
Well, I just think, no, the reason why I said who the hell would pair these people up is because it's just they're from so many different, places and walks of life and all these different types of just areas.
Yeah, well, I wonder what your thoughts are going to be on the Batman versus Superman, because, one's an alien, one's a guy without powers, one's a woman Amazon creature, one's the king of Atlantis, huh?
She's not a creature.
Or warrior, I meant. But Aquaman, and then there's Aquaman, who's the king of Atlantis. Then there's Cyborg, who's a high school kid who got injured and has to get who got repaired. Man. And then there's the Flash, who's a FBI.
Superpower is really awesome.
Yeah, the Flash who's a thing. So the thing is, I don't know. The thing is, I hope that the Justice League movie coming out gives me the same feeling that the Avengers did, because the thing is, I do like the characters more in Justice League more than in the Avengers, and so I think that'll be cool. Like Justice League, the thing is, seeing that this is more, seeing that excitement of seeing these characters finally come together on the big screen. I hope that Justice League can do that. And also, I think that by the end of its run, I think we'll be, even though, Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman had its problems, I think we're going to look back on both the DC universe and the Marvel universe. I think we're going to see DC as a better universe, because it is, the thing is, Marvel is a universe for the fans of today, but DC is a universe for the fans of yesterday. It's really a universe for the fans who grew up with it as kids or now are adults.
I guess. I didn't really grow up with it, so.
But, it's for people like that, in the 80s, if you grew up with the DC comics, and then now you could grow up and see an actual adult story, instead of sitting through some of that Marvel.
I think it'll win. I think it'll probably win simply because of the adult story.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at with the adult story. When the people were back then, and the adults now back then when they were kids, they got to see the 60s Adam West TV show, cheesy shit, and then now they grow up.
Christ.
Yeah, but I like that TV show though. But
I like the TV show. It's cheesy and comical because it's supposed to be.
But then they got to grow up, and then instead of still staying in that cheesy kid universe, they're growing up, and then while they're growing up, the characters are now growing up and getting more adult too, which I like that. I think that if you put the Justice League versus the Avengers, I think Justice League would whip the Avengers' ass, because I feel like the Avengers will go up and be like, hey, hi, superheroes, you want to fight? And Batman would just fucking start eating one of them fucking right there.
I don't think Batman has a contingency plan for the Avengers, though.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. The thing is, fucking.
It really does. Different universes. Yeah,
different universes, but I don't know. I just think that the DC universe has more edge, because it's that adult story, but, we're getting off topic, so we're getting into more Marvel. So, the Avengers I really enjoyed, and then now, Ant-Man is probably the Avengers is probably it's probably my third favorite Marvel film. So the Avengers I really enjoyed. The last really great Marvel movie I saw since not since the Avengers, but one that I actually saw that I actually really enjoyed, which I think that would be interesting, is Ant-Man. I really enjoyed Ant-Man. I like how it was on more. That's the thing about comic book films. I don't like how every issue now in a comic book film is life or death for Earth, in the first Avengers, this thing, they might take over Earth. Second one, they might take over Earth. Iron Man 3, they're going to be, it's such on too big, it's on such a huge scale, like, I kind of like it if they would take back and, you know, do smaller stories, you know, that wouldn't take place on bigger scales. Like, and that's why I really enjoyed Ant-Man, because,
it was so small.
No, like, yeah, pun intended, but it was a smaller story. Like, it was more of a heist movie, you know, like, where by the end of the movie, you know, I mean, it wasn't a end of the world, you know, villain, you know, the villain, you know, by the end, you know, when they fight, you know, it's a smaller incident, you know, it doesn't have to be huge, you know, or blown like most superhero movies. I like how it took it to a smaller incident, you know, where it was just in San Francisco, small San Francisco, and it wasn't even all of San Francisco, it was just in his building, and then went back to his daughter's house, and that's it, you know, it wasn't on such a huge level, and it was funny, it was great characters, I really enjoyed Ant-Man. And so probably another Marvel film, probably the last one I'll mention, but my favorite Marvel film, Guardians of the Galaxy.
That movie was awesome.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was great. I can't wait to see the second one. Of all the Marvel Universe movies, the only one I'm really saying, oh my god, I can't wait to go see is probably Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I like how, you know, it's not your normal, oh, let's go save, you know. I mean, it's a team of fucking anti-heroes, you know, and they're all cussing, you know, and it has great soundtrack, and it's in space. And I like it. I like Guardians of the Galaxy, probably my favorite Marvel film, and I think that's overlooked by some, like, you know, people say, oh, man, you know, all these people, like, that's the thing, like, everybody's looking at Captain America or Iron Man and all that. I'm just like, fuck that dude. It's more, I like more the characters like Blade or Guardians of the Galaxy or Daredevil.
Anti-heroes are my favorite kind of hero.
Yeah. Or, like, even, like, the thing is, like, Deadpool, I feel like every movie's going to copy Deadpool now, which I don't think it should happen, because I thought Deadpool was just alright. But, you know, that's my opinion. You know, a lot of people will get angry and be like, how could you think Deadpool's alright? Well, just because it was kind of overhyped, that's the thing. Like, well, people like, see, the thing is, overhyped movies can kill it for me sometimes.
I completely can see that.
Like, because the thing is, like, what was it? Let me look at my movie collection. Something that was just overhyped that really fucking killed me. Like, Terminator 2. Every day, or like every time I hear Arnold Schwarzenegger or James Cameron, people, Terminator 2, Terminator 2, Terminator 2, Terminator 2, Terminator 2, Terminator 2, I prayed to Terminator 2, Terminator 2, oh my god, Terminator 2, did you see it? I sucked Terminator 2's dick. It's like, dude, I think it's a good movie, it's just that I don't think it's great. I mean, I think people blow that movie out of proportion. I still think the first one is miles better than the second one. I mean, because the first one was more of a horror film, you know. The second one's kind of cutesy, hasta la vista, baby, you know. Do you want to be my son, John Connor? You know, shit like that. It's just, I like the second one. It's just, I hate it when people are like, oh my god, it's like the greatest thing ever. It's like, really? What's so great about it? Or like fucking, let me look at another movie, I'm trying to think of a movie that people really enjoyed that I just thought was okay. Like, Deadpool, I thought Ryan Reynolds was good. I thought the two action sequences that were in it were good. And, you know, the jokes were okay. But, you know, I didn't think it was that great. I mean, I didn't think it was amazing, you know. I think it was overhyped, you know. I think the thing that's...
Movies just get overhyped sometimes.
Yeah.
And it completely kills it for some people.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the last one. I know there was one that completely killed it for me, but I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, it's just that, like, it totally kills it for me, because it's like, oh my god, Deadpool, it's so great, it's the best comic book movie of all time. It's like, no, like, just no. Deadpool, like, do people, I feel like...
The Star Wars Episode 7 was very, very, very overhyped.
Yeah, it was very overhyped. I think that's the thing, like, I do have problems with that. I feel like if I didn't grow up with the original films, I would have noticed it a lot more. But, you know.
There's a few things I have issues with
in
the movie, but I still think it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
It's a very fun movie to watch.
Yeah. But, like, Deadpool, like, I don't know. For me, Deadpool kind of dragged on. Like, the origin story, like, I can see why, like, they kept showing like flashbacks. Like they had like him as Deadpool, and then they went flashback to doing it, and then they went back to him as Deadpool, and then another flashback. It's like I would have rather just went, okay, you show the origin story, then just have him go kick the ass. So like by the end of the movie, like, because the thing is, like, you have the action scene in the beginning and then the action scene at the end with him, both of them as him as Deadpool, but there's that whole middle period where it's just dry. Like, it's just, there's no action in it, you know, it's trying to rely on jokes, and not all the jokes worked, you know, I mean, like, you know, sure, there's a lot of them, there's a good amount of them that were really funny, but I didn't care about him and his girlfriend's love relationship. That's, like, to me, Deadpool's not supposed to be in a love relationship. He's supposed to be going out there saying, hey, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I don't care about no relationship. I'm just out here to kill motherfuckers. You know?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Deadpool. And I haven't seen Ant-Man still.
Yeah.
And I can't find it online for free. So, I have to wait till I come home. My mother has it on DVD.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I don't know, just, I would have rather taken it, you just go origin story route, you know, go through and tell the origin story so that by the time we reach the middle of the movie, we have those two action sequences, you know, and then like a 15-minute to 20-minute or like pause in between. So, you know, so like the last half of the movie feels like, you know, those two big action sequences, so it feels more action oriented. So we walked up like, man, that was cool, that was awesome, those two action scenes at the end, you know, but it just seems kind of like, okay, started off really well, ended off really well, but really, really dry in the middle. Just so dry.
I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
And I just want to see them.
Yeah, I mean, and if you were going to do, you're going to have to tell a good love story, but I mean, I just didn't care about him, because the thing is, people are like, well, you know, it was a good love story between the two. I was like, that's the thing. Deadpool in the comics never came off to me as some guy who would have a girlfriend around and have a relationship with her. Like, maybe that's just me. I mean, especially not this chick who's a stripper.
I mean, I never read his comics, but
yeah, I mean, in the stripper, he is.
Character.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a girlfriend in the comics, but she's an assassin as well. You know, she kicks ass. But you know, in this one, she's just a stripper, a prostitute and a stripper. It's just like, okay.
That's funny.
I mean, it's just. I don't know, like, the hype really killed the movie for me. Like, the hype is killing the movie to the point where it's just like, I'm starting to hate the movie a little bit. Because, like, and I don't want to hate the movie, it's just the point where it's like, why is this movie getting praise out the ass? So much praise, just, oh my god, it's so good, so good, so good, so good, so good, so good. When there's a lot better movies. Like, I thought The Witch was a miles better movie. The Witch that came out the same weekend, I thought it was a miles better movie. What else in the past couple of years there was a comic book movie that I thought didn't get enough praise that I thought should have? I thought Man of Steel told the origin story better than Deadpool. And what else? And Man of Steel I thought had way better action sequences, and people were like, well, it had a bigger budget. Yeah, but the thing is, like, okay, sure, bigger budget, you can make that argument right there. The thing is, though, just Deadpool, the way they told the story with the flashbacks and everything, just felt awkward and weird.
Again, haven't seen it, but I'm going to. But I think...
And you're probably going to love it. That's, like, and I have no problem with people loving it, with people saying, oh, yeah, I loved it, but people telling me that, like people tell me it's the best comic book movie ever. Like, seriously, better than The Dark Knight? Or better than The Avengers? Like,
I think that's the movie. That's the movie that was completely overhyped for me.
Which one?
The Dark Knight.
Really?
Not the first one, the second one.
The second one, I don't know, man. The second one, like, I could believe why the hype is there, because
it's a good movie. And then the third one is just like, okay.
Yeah, the second one, like, the thing is, like, I think the reason why I got so much attention is because Heath Ledger's death. But I mean, you're gonna have to literally could make me drink the Kool-Aid to say that there's someone else who gives a better performance in a comic book movie than Heath Ledger in that movie. There's no one else.
He does a very good job.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very good.
When he's in there, you believe it. He died for that role. He took drugs and all that. He spent 4 weeks locked in a apartment with himself so he can just get into the role.
That's
pretty crazy.
That's pretty far.
Yeah, well, he was really dedicated to the role, and then so some people are like, oh well, what about this film? And I was like, I don't think anybody's gonna top Heath Ledger as a better villain than him in that film. Because of just the performance, especially the interrogation scene when they're in the. Well, we might as well just go on, and talk. So, I have here the Dark Knight trilogy on Blu-ray. There's Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. I think Batman Begins is a good movie. I don't really say I really like it or I really love it. The Dark Knight Rises, the third one, is I think it's good. I think it's a good conclusion. But I think it's kind of disappointing compared to the other two. The one I really like is The Dark Knight. So, pretty much I love The Dark Knight. I remember seeing it in 2008 with my dad. I remember the day. It was, I think it was July 17th. Me and my dad went and see the movie. My mom and my sister went to a Jonas Brothers concert, and I saw that movie, and I loved it. I loved The Dark Knight. It's not my favorite superhero movie. I'll say what that is in a minute. But I love The Dark Knight. I think that the Joker, the interrogation scene between Batman and the Joker, The Dark Knight's not my favorite superhero movie of all time, but that scene between them two is probably the greatest comic book scene I've ever seen in a film, just with them two, because, the thing is, the scariest thing about the Joker in that film is that the Joker is right about humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
the Joker is... I can't get over how great he is in that movie, actually.
Yeah, you when you see that movie, you're just all like, and then it ends, you're just like, wow, that movie was just so good, because and that's why it's so scary about humanity, because the thing is, in The Dark Knight, when he's sitting in there and he's talking, and then he's just all like, what was the line? I'm thinking about it. He's all like, the first wrong thing you do. He's like, you think these people want you here? He's like, the first bad thing you do, what are they going to do? They're going to cast you out like a leper, the first thing you do. And then,
so true.
And then he's sitting there, he's talking about humanity, he's all like, and then, because I like how in the third one, when Bane takes over because in the second one, Joker wanted to take over the city to show Batman how people would be when panic happens. And I like how in the third one it carries over how what the Joker says will happen when panic happens to this city, how people will act, and it exactly what he says in that movie exactly carries on into the third film, which I think is why you need to watch that third movie. But
I watched most of it.
But I think he said the Joker said he's all like you think these civilized people, he's like, when the chips are down and the cards are on the table, these civilized people, they'll eat each other, when it gets down to the nitty gritty, and then which is so true. That's what people will do if they need to, these civilized people that in our society, if they came down to it, they'd eat each other. And it's which makes the Joker, by the end of the movie, you're like, well, is Joker really insane, or is he just smarter than everyone else? And then when you're asking yourself those really deep questions, you're just like, wow, this movie's fucking amazing. But, which I think it's the best movie of the last decade. So, but I also like how, and The Dark Knight, how Batman's all like, well, why do you want to kill me? And then the Joker's like, he's like, oh no, I don't want to kill you. And then he's like, what would I do without you? Going back to ripping off mob dealers. And then he says in really deep voice, he's like, no, you complete me. What would I do without you? What would I do? Which
all of this would be ended if Batman just killed him.
Yeah, but if Batman died, that's why I really like that comic book arc where when Batman dies, the Joker, you know, he just becomes a regular person, you know, and he gets a family, you know, and has kids and stuff, you know. It's just he doesn't know what to do with himself. Like, he's so... That's why I love that character of the Joker, you know. He just doesn't know what to do with himself. And then when the new Batman in Azrael comes out, I love how he locks his family in his house. He lights it on fire, and then he goes back to being the Joker because, you know, he could go back to who he really is, but, you know. But...
I mean, that's pretty fucked, but yeah.
It's fucked up, but, you know, I love that scene because it just shows you how much of a heartless bastard he is. You know, I mean, it's insane, but, you know, I still love that character, still love that comic book line. But, yeah, The Dark Knight's really great. And then now we're getting on to probably my two favorite Batman films. And I just rewatched these two for this podcast, and also because I wanted to really see these Batman films over again for Batman v Superman. And it is my two favorite Batman films, my two favorite superhero films, and it was really, well, the first one was the one I really grew up with as a kid, and the second one I didn't watch as much, but these are the Tim Burton Batman films from 1989, 1992, Batman and Batman Returns. So, I'll get the second one out of the way first, because that's the one that's the one I like least out of the two, but... So Batman Returns is the second one that came out after Batman from 1989. Batman Returns is with Michael Keaton as Batman, Danny DeVito as the Penguin, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
I remember that movie.
I know. I like the two things about the two things I love about Tim Burton's movies is they actually look and feel like comic book films. Like they look like it's they both look like a comic book page taken out and put onto the screen. Like they look exactly like Gotham. Batman looks exactly like Batman. He has the gothic car, you know. Batman, you know, he has the real comic book villains. I really liked it.
It's so comic book.
Yeah. I really like Danny DeVito as the Penguin. If I do have to say some problems about this movie is that the problem is that I don't like how the origins of Penguin, like, I guess the Penguin, you know, you have these two incest brother and sister did it and had a kid, and that's why he's deformed.
I did not know that was why he was like that.
And then that's why he looks all fucked up, and it's like, I don't really like that, because... I don't know. It might be just me, but things like that's not Penguin from the comics. You know, that's really Tim Burton. Like, they really let Tim Burton do whatever he wanted with this movie. And then, like, Catwoman, she literally has 9 lives. So, like, when she gets shot, she doesn't die. It's like, oh, okay, you know. It's more of a Tim... It's more of a...
That's funny.
Yeah, it's more of a Tim Burton film. Like, that's the thing. Like, the first one from Batman the original one, just called Batman. I call it Batman 1989 because that's the year. But the thing is, like, the difference between Batman and Batman Returns is that Batman Returns, it's way more of a Tim Burton film. Like, it looks way more like it. Like, the look, it looks way more like a Tim Burton film. I mean, it looks way different from the original. The villains are way more Tim Burton. I mean, it's very dark, like Tim Burton. But, yeah, and at the end, the Penguin uses little penguins with rockets on their back to go to Gotham and shoot them up at Gotham, but that plan doesn't work out. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of stupid why you would leave this big plans, and like, your big master plan is to put rockets on the back of penguins and have them go out there and sacrifice themselves to blow up Gotham. It's like, that was kind of stupid, but I still enjoy it.
Ridiculous shit like that happens in comic books.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you're taking this dark, serious approach, you don't think you would take that really campy shit and put it in, you know?
Yeah.
But, so we're probably going to get now to my favorite superhero film of all time. This isn't, if you asked me, so we got a comment, Marcelo Valenzuela, I don't know, but we're basically doing comic book movie reviews. But if you asked me, Matt, what is the movie you've seen most in your life out of every single movie? Then it's this movie, Batman. I remember I went over to my aunt's house one day, and she was watching me for the day, and she had the VHS. I still have the VHS of Batman still over in my movie collection. And it's an original 1989 release that came out, I think, a couple months after the movie came out. And I remember I went over there, and then she's like, "Oh, you want to watch a movie?" I remember I picked, when I went over there, I picked the movie Batman because I thought the symbol was so ominous, but it was so standout. I mean, it's just the VHS cover of the movie is just all black with just the yellow bat symbol on it with the bat. It's like the yellow background with the bat symbol on it with the black background. And I remember seeing that movie, and I remember while I was there with her that weekend, I watched it like 4 times in a row. That she just gave me the VHS to take home. So I went home with the VHS. I remember I used to watch this movie so many times. And I still watch it at least a couple times every year. It's to the point where I know every single line in the movie. Like, I can literally repeat back to you every single line in that movie. Like, it's bad. Like, I'm sitting there watching the movie, and I'm repeating every single line before it happens. My sister's like, "How the fuck do you know this?" And I was like, I've seen the movie like 100 times. But, like, the thing is, so Michael Keaton's still my favorite Batman. He'll always be my favorite Batman, even though Ben Affleck did do an actual true Batman adaptation. Michael Keaton's my favorite because, you know, he's like, you know, I don't know, I kind of like that lazy Batman approach he takes, where he's just all like, you know, he doesn't really go to the voice like, you know, he's not like that, you know, he could just come up and he could say, "I'm Batman," you know, like, you know, he's not really like, "I'm Batman."
He's kind of more of a joking kind of Batman.
Yeah, I don't know if he's really joking. I think he's serious because this Batman kills people.
Well, no, he's serious, but he's not like too serious.
Yeah, he's not like, you know, like, yeah, it's fucking retarded. But like, the thing is, let me check something. But yeah, so Michael Keaton, you know, I really like him. I really like how this Batman, he's more ominous than all the others because, you know, he's like I like how one moment, like when some of the bad guys, like Jack Nicholson, before he turns to the Joker, he picks up his gun, that turns back around, and then he just vanishes. He's just gone. I like how they don't show him grappling up and going away. He's just gone, you know. He's kind of like more of a gothic, mythic creature of the night in the Tim Burton films. And this one, I love the look of the film, and I love it's all real. It's not CGI, you know. Especially the ending, you know, where when the Joker's there, and you know it's an epic ending where the Joker has his balloons and he's releasing the toxic gas onto the streets of Gotham, and Batman comes in with his bat plane and picks up the balloons and then cuts them and takes them off to safety so they can go out of the atmosphere. And then, you know, sure, it is a little bit cheesy now, but I still love it. That
it's
the end.
It's a cheesy movie, but it's a good cheesy.
Yeah, the end. But you know, and then he goes down, and then the Joker takes Vicky Vale up to the bell tower, and then Batman goes up and then fights through his goons, and then by the end, you know, it's just this movie is Batman to me. I mean, even the music, you know, this is the best Batman music of all of them. You know, you've heard the music before, right?
The music for Batman Returns?
No, just for both of them, Batman and Batman Returns. It's
I have, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's Batman's music. I mean, it's there's no other music that's really like it. And also the Batmobile's great too. It looks so good. You know, it's not a big tank, you know, like in Batman and The Dark Knight and Batman Begins and all that. It looks like an actual Batmobile. It's just, it looks so good, and the Batwing looks so good, and the Batsuit looks so good. And also, but I think my favorite thing about this movie now that I'm saving it is Jack Nicholson's the Joker. And a lot of people overshadow Jack Nicholson with Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger probably, you could say gave the better performance because, he did all that shit. But Jack Nicholson's my favorite Joker because he is the comic book Joker, He's the one going around laughing his ass off, killing tons of people,
Yeah, he's like... And on top of that, wasn't he one of the first psychotic Jokers?
Yeah,
actually was in the movies.
Yeah, he kills people. He kills more people than the Heath Ledger one. He goes into an art museum full of 30 people, drops in gas, and kills all of them.
Damn. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I recommend you to watch it again. Because the thing is, and also the end, where it's just the end where they're all the one of the reporters, and they're like, well, how do we call him? And it's at night after the Joker the Joker died, and they're all like, he gave us a signal, and then they turned it on, and then it shows the bat light going into the air, and the signal's glowing, and then Vicky Vale goes to the car, and then Batman, and then it goes, and then the camera goes up, and then the music starts playing where it just shows him it goes up, and then it plays, and then it goes to the top there where it shows Batman standing up there, and then it just shows him from a distance looking up at his bat symbol, and then the movie ends, and it's just like, wow. They just don't make movies like that anymore. It truly gives me chills every time I watch it because it's so great. It's so perfect. This movie's perfect to me, at least. It's the movie I've seen the most in my whole life, which is it'll always save a special place in my heart because every child has that one movie that was their childhood film. I know for you, yours was Demon Knight.
Yep. Mine is Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight.
Yeah.
Which, let's go ahead and say, kids shouldn't be watching that.
Yeah. For sure. And I don't think kids should be watching this either, because this is a very dark, violent Batman film.
Yeah. The thing is, when I watched Demon Knight, I was very young.
Yeah. I remember...
I was 6 or 7, maybe.
Yeah, I've been watching Batman for years. I think I've seen it literally over 100 times. But, oh my gosh, it might even be my favorite film of all time. And people are like, really? Batman 1980? The thing is, you don't understand, because, this is my childhood film. This is my childhood. This is what made me love Batman. This is why I love the character so much, because I've seen this movie since I was very young, since I was about 3 or 4 years old. I've watched it since then. I still watch it today. I just watch it over and over and over again. I know every line. I even know the music. When the music's coming up, I hum the theme. My sister's like, how the fuck do you know both of it? It's because it's just ingrained in my head. And, but like I said...
Part of it is obviously nostalgia.
Yeah, it's nostalgia. I could see why some people don't like it, but it's 2 hours of pure excellence to me. It's probably my favorite movie of all time. It's my childhood film. It's the movie I've watched most ever in my life. So it's always gonna have a special place in my heart for me. It's just, I think it's absolute perfect. That's just me. So that's Batman 1989, my favorite superhero film. I don't care what anybody else says. I just absolutely adore that movie.
I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, it's still my favorite Batman film. Because, I don't know, it's like, there's been a lot of Batman films, but I can't really say that there's been... to me, there's only been really 2 or 3 Batman movies where I could say that I actually thought were great and I loved. But I think, I can't say I really love Batman Returns, but I really like Batman Returns, but I can say that I love The Dark Knight and the Batman from 1989.
Dude, it's all about that Batman and Robin.
Oh yeah, honestly, a lot of people hate that movie, but honestly, I think it's a fun, campy, good time for shits and giggles.
It's a campy comic book movie.
It's a fun party film.
Yeah, it's a fun party film where it's so bad that it's fun to watch.
Yeah, that's a movie where I could say, yeah, it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
And if you look at it too, like if you're going to somebody and if you're going to someone and saying, oh yeah, we're gonna watch Batman and Robin, and they're like, oh yeah, cool, and you're like, well, just be warned, because if you say, oh, it's just be like but if you're really going to the film saying, oh, this is really an homage to the 60s TV show, it's not that bad of a movie, because it's really, it's really
cheesy and campy and comic booky.
I heard that, and then everything in that movie, apparently, everything, like, all the shit, like the Batmobile and the Batwing and all the suits and stuff, was all designed by toy companies so they could sell toys.
Yeah, it was.
It was a toy commercial.
There's even a line in the movie that
Ivy with every Poison Ivy doll.
Poison Ivy action
it comes with him. And Bane comes. Yeah, dude. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a fun, cheesy, good time. I honestly, I love the shit out of that movie too.
It was a very self-aware toy ad.
Yeah, a lot of people are all like, oh, fuck that movie now, and like, a lot of people go, oh, fuck that movie, it's so horrible. It's like, really? You can't? I'm like, are you guys? First off, why are you taking it serious? Like, if you're still I could see, like, back then, like, honestly, if I probably went into that movie after seeing the Tim Burton films and went in there, I'd probably be pissed off, too.
But, overall, like,
yeah, like, 20 years later, I still think it's fun. I think it's funny now, I think it's a fun movie.
Like, there are a lot of, like, movies that are really, really, really bad pieces of shit movies.
Yeah.
But I still love watching.
Yeah, but 20 years later, I think people just need to give up on it a little bit. But but back then, I'm pretty sure if me and you walked in there after seeing the Tim Burton films, we'd probably walk out and be like, "What the fuck was that?
What the fuck is this shit?"
Yeah, we'd probably
exactly what I would say.
I would have been like, "This is fucking horrible."
What have you done?
So now we're just gonna. So since we're already at the 2-hour mark, we're just gonna go real quick and talk about where we want to see these franchises go. We're going to go focus on Marvel first. So for Marvel, I'm just going to put it real short and sweet. Marvel, you're getting a little bit too far now, I mean, it's kind of too kiddie for me. I mean, I want to see more adult comic book films, because that's all we've seen now is kiddie Marvel films, and now, I've always been more of a DC fan, but, I feel like DC's going to win me over because it's telling more adult stories now it's telling more stories I want to see than this comic book shit. Like, even Deadpool, like, by the end of it, it was more like kiddie and comic booky and jokey than, I feel like, honestly, I feel like I could see people bringing their kids to Deadpool more than Batman vs. Superman.
Well, for me, I think definitely they're getting way too. Hold on, I'm rolling over my cord. But for me, they're getting way too ahead of themselves, making so many movies a year. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Although, I'm looking forward to the Captain America movie, Civil War, and the new X-Men movie, just because the last two X-Men movies were really good.
Yeah.
And I like Captain America 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I also think that the third one also looks good. Captain America beating the shit out of Iron Man.
Yeah, but did you see the Spider-Man suit?
Is there a Spider-Man suit in there?
Yeah, the last trailer that came out like a week or two ago, it showed Spider-Man. Spider-Man looks horrible.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really care for Captain America because I don't really care about Captain America fighting Iron Man. Like, I never really cared about it.
I think it's funny when the heroes turn on themselves.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just I don't feel like it has that weight of Batman vs Superman. Like, by the end of the day, I feel like it's all just one big joke. I feel like it's all kiddie. It's all one big joke. Like Batman vs Superman, I felt it was really dead serious. Like, these two people could kill each other by the end of the movie. That movie, I know we're gonna walk out and everyone's gonna be fine. No one's gonna die. It's all gonna get resolved by the end. That's the problem with these movies. You walk in, like, man, if they could just turn it on its head and just, kill off one of the big characters, how would that impact the universe and how dark it'd be? Nope, they're going to go in, they're going to fight each other, and by the end of that movie, they're going to have to come to a stalemate where they're going to have to fight against some bigger evil.
Well, to be fair, for, I believe it was Days of Future Past.
Yes.
That one, they had lots of, characters, iconic characters even getting just killed.
Yeah, but by the end it was resolved.
Yes, by the end it was resolved, but I think that was the first Marvel movie that did that, where they were just killing people left and right.
Yeah. And I think it's owned by Fox, so I don't even think it's Marvel.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. X-Men's owned by Fox, and I think that's Deadpool's owned by Fox, because I know Disney wouldn't do anything with Deadpool, like R-rated.
No, they don't want to be associated.
So I mean, I can't really say that it is. I mean, if we're strictly sticking on Marvel Cinematic Universe, that doesn't include X-Men or Deadpool. So that just takes out two of some of the best Marvel, quote, and my fingers right now, Marvel films right now.
Yeah, out of all the Marvel films, out of all the Marvel movies in the past, 2 or 3 years, the
Cinematic Universe
really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I mean, the Avenger movies were, yes, they were fun.
The second one, yeah.
Them, but I didn't like them as much as I liked the X-Men movies, where they had more characters and better characters.
I don't know. I still think the first Avengers was better than the X-Men movies. Because just seeing all those iconic characters come together, X-Men, my problem with Days of Future Past is that they did all those things, killed all those characters, but it was all resolved by the end. Like, nothing happened. I was like, oh, okay, then, whatever.
Oh, that's a pretty bullshit.
It's kind of coincidence, pulling the, oh, everything's happy now card when the rest of the movie was kind of dark and somber. But, yeah.
And the next thing they're doing is the Apocalypse.
Yeah. Which I think they should end it right there. Perfect. You end it on a high note, perfect ending. But they're like, oh no, we want to continue it after that. I was like, oh please, I'd rather you end it on right there on Apocalypse. Have the holy trilogy of X-Men films right there. Those three. End it on a high note.
The X-Men prequel films.
Have it end it right there. Have it end on a high note, and then you make the last Wolverine film, make it R-rated and make it good, and then that's the end of X-Men. You give Wolverine his last final film, because he deserves it, So you end it there, and then that's it. It's over. No more X-Men films. Then you should focus on getting Fantastic Four back on track. Because Fantastic Four is owned by Fox also. So
how about we Fox just sell it off for money already?
Yeah, I really want Marvel to end because they're having an Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2 so they can copy Justice League 1 and 2. It's just like, oh my god. So what, you're gonna pull a Twilight now and have, you're gonna have Avengers.
And they're having a Han Solo movie too?
Yeah. For Star Wars, yeah. So it's just all like for Marvel now, they're even having Avengers films split up into 2 movies. It's getting too big. I just want these last 2 Avengers films. Honestly, Infinity War, you've been spending the whole universe building it up to this. You've been spending this whole universe building it up to this one character, big villain that you're going against. Now, just take that villain, make 2 last good Avengers movies, Part 1 and 2, and just end it right there. End it on a high note.
Please end it. But they're not going to end it. What they're going to do is they're going to reboot the characters.
Probably, yeah.
All the characters.
But I'd rather have them reboot than just continue it on, because it's just they've already have 15 movies.
Yeah, I know. I think how the future of Marvel is going to be is that they're just going to have this huge cycle of reboots of all the characters, and then they're going to bring them all together, have the 3 movies, the third one being split up into 2 movies almost every time, and then they're just going to say, like, okay, that's the Avengers section.
Yeah,
now
so
we're just going to reboot it.
Yeah,
I'd rather have to do that.
So think about it. The last Marvel film is going to come out in 2020. So think about it. That's going to be 12 years. The third Avengers movie, the Part 2 is coming out in 2020. around there. So that's going to be like 12 years of Marvel films. Just you should, what they should do is, okay, after that, end it right there, okay? That's 12 years of Marvel films, okay? Now you wait, then Star Wars Episode 9 comes out 2019. And so and then 2020 is going to have Indiana Jones 5. Disney, just focus. Now that Marvel's done, let it have like 30 years so we can all just be clamoring for another movie after that. During those 30 years, take the Indiana Jones and take Star Wars and start building franchises with those then. So it could be something fresh and new, you know, start building universes with that. And then in like 30 years, come back when we all want superhero movies again, and then reboot it again.
They have 3 Marvel movies planned for 2020, but they don't have any titles or anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's gonna go. That's the thing. Like in an interview, the guy said, "Oh, Star Wars and Marvel movies will go on forever." It's like, then what happens when I'm old as shit and I die? Are they still gonna go on? And I'm never gonna see the end to this franchise. You know, I mean, what the fuck?
I think 80 years is very long for characters.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the thing is, like, I don't want this to become a damn soap opera, you know, which now it's kind of feeling like a soap opera, you know, where it's just going on and on and on. And that's why I liked the Christopher Nolan movies. That's the thing, like, I wouldn't have to be scared about dying before him because he only made 3 movies in a time span of like 8 years, you know. So he had a satisfying beginning, middle, and end, you know. Not a very. Right now it's just all middle, you know. It's just all it's just gonna go on and on and on. I hate things that drag out. Like there's some anime that just drag on and on and on. It's just like. And then you know that, and you know the reason they're doing it is just to milk it out. It's like, dude, like that's the thing. I cannot stand long. Like the thing is, people are like, well, Lord of the Rings is long. Lord of the Rings is 3 movies, you know. I mean, it's 3 movies released in 3 different years, you know. It's like the Lord of the Rings didn't go on and on and on.
And when you put the Lord of the Rings together, how many hours is it?
It's like 12 hours. Yeah.
13 hours. But when you put all the Marvel movies together,
it's like 30.
At least connected to the Avengers.
Yeah.
It's way more than 30.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. And also, you know, it was special because Lord of the Rings was like an event. You know, they only had 3 movies, so 1 each year. But now for Marvel, it's just we're prone to it now, you know. I mean, it keeps going on, and it's just getting boring. Now when I go see superhero movies, you know, it's kind of just your run of the mill, like going to see. I mean, it's sad to use this analogy, but you know, when you go see your average, you know, it's kind of like going to see your own average comic book movie, like a horror film, you know. It's sad to use that analogy, you know. Like, another horror movie.
That's because I think it's sad to use horror movies as that analogy because they used to be really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad for both.
Carbon copy pieces of shit of each other.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Marvel's down to that level, but it's kind of getting down there.
It's going, and at some point they will get there unless they reboot.
Yeah, unless they stop it, because I don't have no problem with Marvel being kids and all that. Okay, I can see why the characters are a lot brighter and a lot more, but you know, it's getting kind of old. You know, I mean, there's only so many times that you could do a villain's gonna try to take over the Earth or try to ruin the Earth. You know, it's just what are you gonna do? I mean. It's just but the thing, so that's my Marvel rant. Do you have anything more to say about Marvel?
I think that I just think they need to reboot it at some point in the next 5 years, and if they don't, then I think it's officially going to be in the gutter.
Yeah, I think so too. So now we'll move on to the last segment of the show, which is the DC Extended Universe, is what they're calling it. Instead of cinematic universe. So DC, I'm loving everything they're doing right now. The only problem is I feel like they're just rushing it. But
cause they're trying to catch up and compete with Marvel.
Yeah, I think like the thing is, like, you know, their movies just go out to 2020, so that's 7 years of DC films, and the thing is, like, I like how they say there's going to be Justice League Part 1 and Part 2. I don't think they're going to make any more Justice League movies after that. I think it's going to be done.
That's pretty cool. They might make a Part 3.
Who knows? Yeah, but for now, I mean, if they're going to make a big line of them, they just call it Justice League, and then they call it, Justice League.
Title or something.
Yeah, and then the second one would be called, Justice League, Dawn of something, or some shit like that. Yeah. Or no, but no, it's just called Justice League Part 1 and Justice League Part 2, which I'm hoping that, okay, you could do all this, make your, 1 or 2 standalone Batman films with Ben Affleck during these years, and then end it by, 2020, 2021, and then there you go, you have 7 years of, think about it, so you have 7 years of, DC Extended Universe, pretty much a little over half the time of what Marvel spent, and you have a fresh, it's not burned out by that, because think about it, Marvel now has been doing this for 12 years, and they have 4 films a year, and DC, if they do it for 7 years, they only have 2 films a year, so it's more fresh.
Yeah, and not just, the whole 4 films a year thing really just fucking kills me.
Yeah, and especially the thing is, okay, if it was 4 films a year, but they were all different, different, stuff, it would be cool, but, no, I could go in and tell you what's going to happen, this year Doctor Strange is going to come out. Doctor Strange is going to show him getting his powers. He's going to get his powers, he's going to learn how to master his powers, then he's going to have to fight someone.
Destroy the world.
Someone's going to try to destroy the world, he's going to have to stop it, he stops it, and then he's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Wow, how could you tell that? Well, maybe because every other fucking Marvel movie's done that for the last couple of years.
They're literally making the same movie with just different villains, different powers, and a few different contexts of destroying the world.
Yeah, and then people just jerk off DC, for Marvel, and they're like, oh my god, yes, baby, yes, please. It's so good, thank you for giving us the same shit, wrapping it up. I'm telling you, man, Marvel is the new Call of Duty. They're taking the same shit, repackaging it, and giving it to everyone. They're taking the same. It's like Call of Duty. They take Call of Duty. They take the same maps. They reskin them. They put pretty much the same guns in there. They just reskin the guns too, and then they sell it back to you. Marvel, they take the same basic formula. They put new actors, new origin story, new villain, and then they just resell it to you. Marvel's turning it. That's what it's turning into. I don't really think they're going into pleasing fans anymore. They're just there to make money, and they're going to continue making money. But it's just, and it shows you.
Avengers was definitely there to please the fans.
Yeah, it just shows you now that it's going to make money. Especially too with Batman v Superman making almost $500 million opening weekend. People are still going to go see these movies. I know, but I really enjoyed Batman v Superman, but just the thought of me thinking about, hello. Shh, no, Jen. I'm not going to be quiet.
It's 1:30.
Can you put Jupiter in here? Where's Jupy?
She's asleep.
Okay, call her in here. Jupy. Alright, I'll get her in a second. Yeah, Jupiter. So, yeah, but the thing is, just the thought of me thinking about Marvel makes me tired.
It's pretty tired and repetitive.
Yeah, it's tiring. When I think of DC Universe and Batman vs Superman and all that, I don't feel tired. But I think of Marvel and I feel like there's just a whole bunch of weight just weighing me down. I just want to take it off and end it already.
Which kind of sucks because they have a lot of very cool characters too.
Yeah, but if they started going deeper into the darker side of Marvel and really showing that, that would be cool. But no,
doesn't Marvel have a whole group of really awesome anti-heroes?
Yeah, they have Daredevil, they have the Punisher, they have Ghost Rider, they have Blade, they have Deadpool, you know. But I mean, it's not. They're not giving them their own time. I mean, they're putting them. I mean, they're taking all those darker characters and they're like, okay, here, TV, take them. It's like, why?
Is Spawn Marvel or DC?
No, he's none of them.
Oh, okay.
He's like an Image Comics.
I think they should. I think there should be another Spawn. Because I really, even though the old one's cheesy as fuck, I still like it.
Yeah. I don't know, like, just I like the way DC's going with this shorter, with just 2 movies a year, not really planning out a whole 14, 15, 16, 20-year deal. Just 7 years of just some really dark adult stories of some characters that we really loved. And, you know, that's what I like, you know. But it's just for Marvel, it's kind of now turning into... I'm just going to look right now, Marvel Cinematic Universe. And count by 2020 how many films there are going to be.
I can count right now.
Yeah.
Right. For this year we have 1, 2... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
1,
9, 10, 11, 12. Ant-Man is Marvel.
13, 14.
Ant-Man is Marvel, right?
17, yes.
13, 14.
19, 23. Alright, so by 2020, so just till 2019.
There's at least 20 of them.
Yeah, so till 2019. Till 2019, not even counting 2020, there's going to be 23 Marvel films. That just sounds exhausting. So let's see how many DC films are going to be. Let me see DC Extended Universe.
I think, but once you split it up into the different franchises, like we have the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Are their own universe clearly, and they are going. If you count just the Marvel, like the main Marvel universe, I think it brings it down to somewhere around 15.
Yeah. Alright. So, look at this. So, let me see. Yeah, see, look at this. Each year, only 2 films a year for DC. So, if we go from here to 2020, so we had Man of Steel in 2013. 2016's Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Suicide Squad. 2017 is Wonder Woman and Justice League Part 1. 2018 is The Flash and Aquaman. 2019 is Shazam and Justice League Part 2. 2020 is Cyborg and Green Lantern Corps. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 films. Literally less than half of Marvel films, and that's counting 2020 included. Imagine 2020 when Marvel comes by. I mean, Christ.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be fucking horrible. I think that these last 2 Marvel Avengers films coming out, I think those are going to be the last ones that I think were fun, because I thought the second one was, you know, it was fun, it was cool. I think the last one, oh my god, I think that's going to be the last one that I can really stand, and then after that, I'm just going to be like, fuck this franchise. I mean, you're still announcing more, for right now, they don't have anything announced after, Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2, and then there's the Inhumans coming out right after that. If they announce...
I didn't know the Inhumans was in.
Yeah. If they're coming, if they announce anything after Inhumans, I'm done. I'm gonna watch... Okay, I'll give Marvel this. I'm gonna watch every single Marvel film until Inhumans. After Inhumans, that's 23 movies. If there's any more after Inhumans, I'm done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm not going to watch anymore.
I mean, they're going to have at least 3 in 2020.
Yeah.
It doesn't say what they are yet.
Yeah.
I'm really, really, really hoping that they're they're starting to reboot the characters, not in Avenger movies, but in their own separate movies.
Yep.
You know, they could have a year where. Well, I'm gonna go ahead out on a limb and say one of those 2020 movies is a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And two of them. All right, so let's say two of them are the Marvel ones. Like they could have like 1 year be Hulk and Thor. Have the next year be two different characters, and the year after that, two different characters, and then they can like come out with Hulk and Thor again 3 years later for the next movie.
Exactly.
But I think if they do that, it'd be perfectly fine. If they reboot it, give it new looks and not the same fucking formula.
Exactly. Like that's the thing. Like when I'm looking at. Like when I'm looking at like Suicide Squad, I know that they want to make a sequel already, which is like okay, so their DC universe is probably going to go on for a long time too, where it's just all like, I don't want to think like that's the thing like, it's just
money talks, man.
Yeah, it does exactly money. But the thing is, like, I could stand 2 films a year over 4 because, like, it feels like Marvel. They take like they always release one movie. They always release one of their movies in like the spring, you know, like in March or April, and then they release 2 during the summer. They release 2, one at the beginning of the summer, one in like May, and then one in like August, and then they release one in like November at the end of the year. So it's just like, okay, so they try to get each different season, like, you know. What I like about DC is all these movies here. So Batman vs Superman comes out March. The next one after that comes out in August. So think about it. From there we have March. So there's April, May, June, July. So we have about a little over 4 months. You know, we don't have like a month and a half, so you know we have some time to breathe and, you know, take in Batman vs Superman. And then after we have Suicide Squad, we have Wonder Woman coming out in June, so we have pretty much a little less than a year. So we have a little less than a year. If it was Marvel, we'd have like 3 or 4 months. So, and then after June, we have July, August, September, October. We have another 4 months until Justice League Part 1, and then we have one coming out. We have The Flash coming out in March, and then we have after that. So we have April, May, June, and then July 31st, end of July, literally the end. So like 4 months we have Aquaman. I like how this one, you know, they're spacing them out. You know, for DC. Like,
yeah, they're definitely spacing it out way more than Marvel is.
Yeah, I like how they're taking the like they're not making them all like, you know, we have at least 4 months, you know, we have at least a quarter of a year between each DC film. But with Marvel, you know, we have like one like every couple of months, like, you know, we have one in April, or we have one like in March and April, and then we have one in May, and then we have one like in July, and then we have one like in September. It's just like, holy shit, do we have any time to breathe? And then if you think about it, so we're gonna have 4 Marvel films a year, plus, so we're gonna have like 4 or 5 Marvel films a year, and that's including, you know, the X-Men, the 20th Century Fox, and then we're going to have 2 DC films a year, so we're going to have 6 or 7 superhero films a year. And that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, that sounds like, I mean, honestly, it's to a point of Marvel, like, for DC, like, I'm all for DC until I start seeing shit that's really stupid. Like, the thing is with the only things I'm worried about, like, I really like these adult dark stories. Like, Wonder Woman Suicide Squad looks like it's gonna be dark. Wonder Woman looks like it's gonna be dark. Justice League Part 1 and 2 look like it's gonna be dark. Where I'm getting concerned is like movies like the standalones, like The Flash and Aquaman and Shazam. Like, I wonder how those are gonna be.
For one, tie into the rest of it, and two, if they're going to be good or make sense.
Yeah.
The major issue with that is making sense of the main story.
Yeah. That too, and the biggest thing is that you keep continuity in tone. Like, if you're going to have Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, and Wonder Woman, and Justice League Part 1, you have the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have the first 5 movies have be really dark adult storylines. You better sure as hell have The Flash, Aquaman, Shazam, Cyborg, Green Lantern. You better have all those dark too. You know, I better not get the first half, so we have 11 films here. The first 5 are really dark stories. The next 6 are just really, they go back to a little bit more kids' stories, No, I don't want that, okay? I don't want that to happen at all.
I mean, Cyborg is a pretty fucking dark story.
Yeah, Cyborg, but I'm leaning more on, like, the Aquaman, Flash, and Shazam. Like, those 3 movies.
Yeah, specifically for one, Aquaman, he's kind of just like a fish dude from the sea, right?
He's the king of Atlantis.
Yeah, so I don't see how you're going to make that one super dark.
I see how you could.
I mean, you could. But the very worst one is Shazam.
Yeah.
For one, Shazam is such a shitty superhero.
Yeah. I don't know, and then they casted that the first sign of it being not dark, I mean, is frickin'... Let me look here.
I mean, like, the reason why I say it's not going to be dark is because Shazam is like, what is he, like a 12-year-old kid, something like that? How old is he? How old is the Shazam character before he becomes his buff lightning form?
Huh?
How old is Shazam? Because isn't he like
I don't
12?
know. But
He's
the thing
really
is,
young.
yeah, the thing is, like, to see my first sign of it being, oh no, like the thing is, like, because the thing is, The Rock has been confirmed as Black Adam. He's a villain. So it's just all like, well, okay, is he going to be the dark superhero that we know, or... Like, is it going to be dark or is it going to be friendly, Like, I don't want one movie where fucking Batman's fucking breaking people, killing people and shit, and then the next movie we have Shazam and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson fucking jerking each other off in the corner. Like, that'd be horrible.
Bro, it's going to be Tooth Fairy all over again.
Who knows? I don't know. I think that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, if he could do a serious dark role, like, then again, I can't really go quick to judge to him because, everybody said that about Ben Affleck, and look, Ben Affleck is fucking everybody's favorite Batman now, so I mean, I will have to wait and see the movie to see how he is.
What is Shazam's story, actually?
Jupiter, no. So... Shazam's story is about some kid who finds a comic book and gets some powers from it, and then whenever he says Shazam, he turns into a superhero.
Yeah, how the fuck are you gonna make that dark?
I don't know.
I mean, there are ways to do it, but that's...
Who knows?
That one is just... I've always seen Shazam ever since I heard about him.
Yeah, I know, but...
Which was in Justice Gods Among Us, by the way.
Yeah.
And I looked at the video game, played it for a bit, and found Shazam, and I was like,
wow,
this superhero is very fucking
yeah. But we're gonna go, guys, now. It's been 2.5 hours. So, yeah, we'll be back next week, and we're gonna get that gaming and sports podcast also developed, too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Alright, see you. Peace.